Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Poison is infinitely stacked, shocking the school beauty. Chapter 1. Xiaoguo, Wolong City. Fengchu Academy, Grade 3, Class 2. Students, the island country has fallen. What do you think? The head teacher Yang Yu stood on the podium, speaking calmly. The classroom immediately became noisy. Watch it on your phone. Watch it on the bed. You can watch it while sitting. Yang Yu took a look and saw that everyone was making a fuss. He raised his eyebrows and immediately gestured to stop them. Shish, the noisy classroom became quiet again. Remember, don't show your emotions, and learn more from the teacher. What the teacher wants to express is that since the strange game came to Blue Star hundreds of years ago, monsters have invaded various countries to varying degrees, and the island country fell because there were no high-level strongmen. There are more and more monsters, and our living environment is seriously threatened. You completed your job transfer yesterday, and you should upgrade quickly to enter the Super God Academy to serve the motherland. We cannot follow the footsteps of the island country. Remember, it is very important to enter the Super God Academy. Blah blah. 20 minutes passed. Suddenly, she frowned and saw a boy sitting by the window in the back row, hiding his head behind a book, and didn't respond for a long time. His name is Li Zunil, and he traveled here 3 years ago. Orphan. This world is invaded by a weird game, and everyone changes jobs to survive and fight against game monsters. There is no distinction between high and low occupations, only 3 major categories of occupations: combat, support, and life. Talents vary, with the highest SSS level and the lowest E level, but most people don't have awakened talents. Everyone has their own attribute panel and a character backpack with a capacity of 250 grids. Only game-related items can be placed, such as equipment, skill books, potions, synthetic gems. And Li Zunil, fortunately, brought the system. Li Zunil. Yang Yu shouted. She guessed that this guy must have done something bad. However, the other party did not respond, and even snored. Zhao Rishan, you take me. He suddenly spoke. The boy next to him looked innocent and immediately defended himself. Teacher, we didn't play games, he was talking in his sleep. Yang Yuliu raised her eyebrows and said in a deep voice. Zhao Hao, wake him up for me. Zhao Hao waved his palm and hit Li Zunli's head hard. Wake up, you never forget to trick me even in your dreams. It seems that his heavy slap contains some personal grudges. Li Zunil sat up as if in a dying dream, his body stood up instantly, his eyes still closed. What's wrong? Goblins invaded the classroom. He was yelling, sleepy, and confused. Seeing this, the classmates around him couldn't help laughing like pigs. Why is there still a pig's cry? He was confused and mumbling. The student who laughed like a pig immediately closed his mouth, and black lines appeared on his forehead. After a while, the classroom was once again in a state of laughter. Li Zunil rubbed his eyes, looked carefully, and finally saw the current situation clearly. He smiled awkwardly. Ah, good morning. On the podium, a black line appeared on Yang Yu's forehead. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, not in the morning. Ah, is that so? After Li Zunil said this, he felt something was wrong and picked his feet awkwardly. Li Zunil, tell me what I just said. Yang Yu folded his hands in front of his chest, looked at him with a serious tone. Li Zunil was stunned, and hurriedly searched for the few memories in his memory. Ah, the island country fell. What else? Ah, and be happy quietly, don't show it on your face. No more. Also, it's best to choose a combat profession when changing jobs. Don't choose an auxiliary profession or a life profession, there is no future. Did I just say this? Ha, Yang Yu picked up a piece of chalk and threw it at Li Zunil. After the chalk drew a high parabola. It hit Zhao Hao accurately. Okay, I admit that I did doze off. Li Zunil spread his hands and was very frank. You call that dozing off? This is almost your bedroom. Yang Yu looked at Li Zunil with a look of disappointment. We can lose the team battle, but the nurse must die. But you chose the priest. Monsters may suddenly come. If you encounter it alone, how can you fight against monsters and survive? Li Zunil checked his talents. Talent: Immortality SSS. Description: Passive, you are immortal. You can only get hurt, not die. Immortality: If the system hadn't said that choosing a priest would reward the immortality talent, he wouldn't have chosen the priest. After half a second of careful consideration, he decisively chose the priest. What profession can compare to the immortality talent? When he was thinking about how to answer Yang Yu's question, his mind suddenly rang voice. Ding! You have a system task to receive. He immediately checked the system tasks. 1. Say to the teacher, okay, let's show off, I won't pretend anymore, I'm actually a hidden boss. Completion reward. Priest special skill book, poisonous milk is poisonous awesome. 2. Remain silent and listen to the teacher's teachings with an open mind. Completion reward. A thick black silk illustration book, very good looking. He hesitated, very hesitant. In the end, he chose 1. As a nurse, he lacked damage. But he was worried that he would be punished by the teacher after speaking. He gritted his teeth and spread his hands. Okay, let's show off, I won't pretend anymore, I'm actually a hidden boss. As soon as the voice fell, the classroom fell into silence, and all the students stared at him with wide eyes, looking at him in disbelief. How could he say that? A nurse profession, the courage given by Liang Jingru. At this time, a voice sounded in his mind again. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the priest special skill book, poisonous milk is poisonous. He immediately checked poisonous milk is poisonous excitedly. Skill name, poisonous milk is poisonous. Professional requirements, priest. Level requirements, unlimited. Skill effect. Cast this skill on level 10 targets. The target will continue to lose blood at a rate of 1% per second, cannot be removed, lasts for 100 seconds, poison can be stacked infinitely, skill CD is 1 second, casting distance is level 10 meters. Skill level. God level. Lose 1% blood per second, lasts for 100 seconds. Poison can be stacked infinitely, CD is only 1 second. Li Zunil saw several key information here, and he was so happy that he couldn't shut up. Good guy, isn't this equivalent to directly announcing that the target is sentenced to death with a reprieve? This is simply the death-requiring technique of the King of Hell. He immediately learned the poisonous milk is poisonous skill book. Seeing the skills on the private information panel, he couldn't hide the smile on his face. He is a nurse, but he can actually poison. And it's a very perverted kind. On the podium, Yang Yu looked at Li Zunil, who showed no remorse, and said unhappily. Hidden boss, can you be admitted to the Super God Academy? Go and clear the Super Ghost copy of the Academy first. Yang Yu looked at Li Zunil with a gloomy face. At this time, the classroom was in chaos. Super Ghost copy, isn't that a 100% chance of survival? He is a priest, what can he challenge? Is he cool? No one has ever come out of that copy alive. Hidden boss, he only has healing skills, he is really good at bragging. Zhao Hao looked at Li Zunil with a pitiful look. Brother, come on. Although we are brothers, we also want to stick a knife in your ribs, but Teacher Yang has spoken after all, you can only wish you the best. After saying that, Zhao Hao's face showed an uncontrollable gloating. Li Zunil saw that he was looking for death, and said loudly. Teacher Yang, Zhao Hao said he also wants to challenge the Super Ghost copy. Zhao Hao, Yang Yu. Zhao Hao immediately started to defend himself. Teacher Yang, okay, you go too. I get angry when I see you too. Yang Yu slapped the podium, her tone unquestionable. Zhao Hao, ding ling ling ling. The get out of class ended. Yang Yu still stood on the podium, saying earnestly. Li Zunil, look, if you delay for 1 minute, there are 40 people in the class, which means 40 minutes. After Yang Yu finished speaking, he glanced at Li Zunil unhappily. Let me say a few more words. You are all level 1 now. In the last 100 days, hurry up and upgrade to level 30 to take the Super God Academy exam. Super God Academy is your best way out. Only after graduating from Super God Academy can you get a good job and treatment. Otherwise, you can only join the Adventurers Guild and be a frontline adventurer or a casual wilderness hunter, and the probability of death is very high. Starting today, you need to form a team by yourself and go to the low-level dungeons of the school to increase your level and experience. There will be a field trial in 3 days. After she finished speaking, she looked at Li Zunil and Zhao Hao. You two, follow me. Go to the dungeon building. Get out of class dismissed. After she finished speaking, she strode out of the classroom. Li Zunil looked at the sad-looking Zhao Hao, dancing with joy, and smiled. Brother, you said you would stick up for me, let's go. At this time, a gloating expression appeared on his face. I just said that, you idiot. Zhao Hao stood up with resentment and followed. Li Zunil comforted him as he walked. Don't worry, death in a dungeon is not real death. It's better to experience it in advance than to die in the wild. Zhao Hao was reluctant, but it will hurt. Zhao Rishan, you are a man who wants to destroy the world, and you are also a swordsman, so what's wrong with pain? Li Zunil looked at Zhao Hao with contempt. You said you wanted to be a swordsman and kill people. Don't let me look down on you. But I want to take it slow. If I take too big a step, it will be a mess. Zhao Hao was still unmoved and dejected. Take it slow. Lose at the starting line. The early bird catches the worm, do you understand? Li Zunil continued to comfort Zhao Hao. Don't worry, if there are any equipment, I will give them to you as long as you can use them. We can sell the rest directly and make money easily. Zhao Hao's eyes lit up and he became excited. Making money easily, this is what he dreams of. Ever since the weird game invaded the world, food and water have become scarce. Outside the city of Wolong, there are many game monsters, which have occupied a large number of farmland and water sources. This has led to a large reduction in crop yields and a food crisis. Water resources are also very scarce. Fortunately, there are high-level adventurers who are protecting the 1/3 acre of land with their lives, so that people in the city can barely eat and drink enough. Not to mention enjoying, that is something that only rich people can do. So survival and making money will always be the main theme of this world. Money is the boss. Food, handsome men and beautiful women, equipment can all be solved with money. In addition, Li Zunil thought carefully, he seems to have no need for equipment. Talent is immortal, what equipment is needed? Poison milk is poisonous, skill does not need intelligence bonus, only linked to the level. So if you have good equipment, you can sell it directly. However, equipment that increases body can be kept, which can increase speed, so that the kite poison flow tactics can be expected. In this world where the weird game has come, game equipment, skills, and items are divided into levels. No stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 9 stars, 10 stars. The more stars, the higher the value and the stronger the attribute. You said it. Zhao Hao grabbed Li Zunli's hand and confirmed it again and again. I said it. Okay. Zhao Hao was satisfied. After dealing with Li Zunil for several years, this is the first time he has seen him so generous. He had been cheated by Li Zunil before. It was not easy to take advantage of Li Zunil, so he would not let it go. Li Zunil walked while checking his personal attributes. Name, Li Zunil. Level, 1. Profession, priest. Life, 100% 100. Morality, 1 morality, passive points. Intelligence, 1 intelligence. Physical strength, 1 physical strength including speed. Charm, 20 beautiful. Strength, 1 labor. Talent, immortality SSS. Description, passive, you are immortal, you can only get hurt, not die. Equipment, school uniform no star. Skills, poisonous milk god level healing 1 star free attribute points, 5. Beauty is as high as 20 points, all added by system tasks. Yesterday, he successfully changed his job and his level was level 1, with 5 attribute points, which he has not yet allocated. Every time he leveled up, he would get 5 free attribute points. He thought about it and thought that although he was immortal, he would not die, but he would be injured. Injury definitely meant pain, so the way to avoid injury required run fast. So, he decisively added 5 points to body. Increasing physical fitness and speed will allow you to run faster. The skills of the priest actually require intelligence attributes, but as a poisonous healer, he didn't think so much. He wanted to take care of himself first, and then take care of others. He seemed to have seen his own kite tactics on the battlefield. He. As for attributes such as attack and defense, they are not reflected on the panel. That is a metaphysics. In general, the higher the level, the higher the attribute, the better the weapon, and the higher the combat power. These 5 attributes are jokingly called morality, intelligence, physical fitness, beauty, and labor by students, which are just the basic attributes of a person. Among them, morality is more interesting. At least in Wolong City, the attribute points of morality can affect whether you can enter the establishment. Simply put, it determines whether you can be an official. Only by destroying powerful monsters can morality be passively increased, and it cannot be actively allocated. Game monsters are also divided into no stars, 1 star to 10 stars. The higher the star rating of the monster, the more abnormal its strength. After killing it, morality will also increase more. Suddenly, Li Zunil felt that his hand was being pulled. He turned his head and saw that it was Zhao Hao who pulled him. At this time, Zhao Hao was staring at a beautiful woman not far in front of the corridor. She was wearing a school uniform, with a hot body, a wow look, a high ponytail, exquisite and elegant, like a porcelain doll. Look, the school beauty, Xia Bingshe. My goddess. Zhao Hao shouted to Li Zunil excitedly. Li Zunil followed his gaze and found that the other party was indeed very beautiful. Youthful, energetic, beautiful, and moving. She was holding a magic wand in her hand, obviously a magician. There were several well-equipped boys around her, communicating with Xia Bingshe with a smile. Li Zunil retracted his gaze and looked down on Zhao Hao. Now I have to talk about you, you are a swordsman. What's wrong with a swordsman? Can't a swordsman like beautiful women? Look at Li Chen, who is the first in the grade. He is a swordsman profession. He is like an ascetic monk and is not close to women. He is a hidden profession, a fierce one, but I am not. I can't do it. Oh my God, I am so disappointed in you. Li Zunli's tone was full of disappointment. What's wrong? I have to tell you an experience summed up by countless predecessors, the swordsman's experience of becoming a god. What experience? Swordsman, the first move of the sword manual is to kill the one you want first, without women in your heart, and draw the sword like a god. Then why don't you kill him? You've got the point, so I'm a priest instead of a swordsman. I don't read much, don't lie to me. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Li Zunil swore and continued. We are brothers, how could I lie to you? Tisk, haven't you lied to me enough? Zhao Hao seemed to have suffered enough from being cheated, and there was more or less doubt in his tone. Facing the soul-searching question, Li Zunil laughed. You have to believe that when God wants to give a man a great responsibility, he must first make your heart suffer, your muscles and bones tired, and your body hungry. Is this why you bet on me for a month's food expenses? Zhao Hao was dissatisfied with the previous cheating. Don't worry, Buddy is going to take off, I will make up for the previous cheating for you. Li Zunil patted his chest. Take this super ghost copy for example, you just sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor, and everything depends on me, okay? Tisk, rely on your nanny. You only have a healing skill. Zhao Hao shook his head, this guy must be bragging again. Anyway, he would never believe it. He was already thinking about how to die in a more decent way. Soon, Yang Yu brought Li Zunil and Zhao Hao to the dungeon building. At the entrance to the super ghost dungeon, Yang Yu looked at the middle-aged bald man beside him respectfully. Director Tang, I have 2 students here who need to enter the super ghost dungeon to experience it. His name is Tang Wu. He was holding his mobile phone and browsing Douyin girls. The sudden voice caught him off guard. He immediately swiped his thumb upwards, and there was another girl with black silk stockings. Another swipe, and there was still a girl with curvy figure. Another swipe, and there was still a girl. He quickly turned off the screen, turned around and looked at Yang Yu and the other 2 awkwardly. This phone, pushes me videos every day, sorry to make fun of it. Yang Yu pretended to be nonchalant. I haven't seen anything yet, Li Zunil looked at Tang Wu and suddenly thought of Wei Xiaoshang. With this wretched look, how did he become the director? Is he a bootlicker, the kind who stands up and applauds? Director, this is the algorithm that pushes it based on interest. Zhao Hao, who was standing by, spoke frankly. Li Zunil raised his eyebrows. Wow, you really dare to say it? Are you stupid? You are honest, and you know a lot. Yang Yu's face turned pale, and he immediately turned his head and glared at Zhao Hao. How come you still can't tell the formation? Tang Wu blushed when he heard this, looked at Zhao Hao meaningfully, then turned to look at Yang Yu. Ahem, what are you doing here? Yang Yu immediately answered. These 2 students need to experience the cruelty of the game monsters, so I decided to let them go to the super ghost dungeon to feel it. Tang Wu rolled his eyes and nodded repeatedly. Experience cruelty. Okay, there is another group of people who also want to go to the Super Ghost Dungeon, let's go in together later. As soon as the voice fell, a group of people slowly appeared at the door. 4 men and 2 women. One of them was particularly eye-catching, Sha Bingshe. Zhao Hao immediately became excited and pinched Li Zunli's arm. It's Sha, I know. Li Zunil pulled back his hand and looked at Zhao Hao with contempt. He secretly said, really useless, he can't walk when he sees a beautiful woman. Director Tang, hello, my name is Tan Huan, we want to challenge the Super Ghost copy. The girl next to Sha Bingshe spoke crisply. Tang Wu nodded, looked at the few people, and was a little surprised. Tan Huan, it's rare to challenge the Super Ghost copy. You 6. Yes, 6, the 6 of us are all in the top 10 of the college rankings. Tan Huan danced with joy, his tone full of pride. Tang Wu raised his eyebrows slightly. It's great to be young, fearless. After saying that, he looked at Zhao Hao with deep meaning. After staying for 2 seconds, his eyes returned to Tan Huan, and then looked at Sha Bingshe. Huh, I seem to have seen her. She is the school beauty of our college, Sha Bingshe, and her photos often appear in the college news. Tan Huan explained. So that's the case. No wonder there are 4 flower protectors behind her, ha ha ha. Tang Wu looked at the well-equipped boys behind Sha Bingshe and smiled knowingly. Sha Bingshe smiled and nodded to Tang Wu. Hello, Director Tang. Good, good, good. Very good. Tang Wu couldn't help but admire Sha Bingshui's youthful vitality. How many boys must have this girl in their hearts? If he were a few decades younger, he would probably want to catch up with her. He perked up and his expression became serious. Super Ghost Dungeon, you all know it, right? There are 10 levels in total, and no one can survive. No student has ever successfully challenged it. I believe we can challenge it. Tan Huan made a solemn promise. Tang Wu laughed. Haha, all the failed people said so. After laughing, he looked at Li Zunil and Zhao Hao beside him. It's like this, the Super Ghost copy is a copy for 10 people, and there are only 6 of you. There are 2 classmates who also need to experience the Super Ghost copy. I think you should go in together, the cost can be lower, what do you think? Tan Huan looked at Li Zunil and Zhao Hao, very surprised. You want to go in too? Yes, these 2 naughty kids don't know the danger of game monsters, go in and experience it. Yang Yu crossed his arms and nodded gently. Okay, but let me say it first, we may not be able to take care of you. Tan Huan saw that Li Zunil and Zhao Hao didn't seem to be wearing any sophisticated equipment. She immediately understood that these 2 people were here to be punished and would probably die in the first level. No, you don't have to worry about us. Li Zunil waved his hand. You didn't buy any equipment. Tan Huan was very surprised. Only weapons. I haven't had time to buy the rest. Li Zunil smiled faintly. He was calm and composed. Zhao Hao and Li Zunil both had only one broken weapon, mainly because they were poor. Li Zunil was an orphan, needless to say. All the previous system tasks were to add attribute points beauty. However, because he was handsome, he also received some unexpected surprises, such as confession letters and snacks in the drawer. Speaking of which, he did rely on his face for a while. But he had been waiting for the system to give him a big move, and finally he got the immortal talent and the poisonous milk as poisonous skill. Zhao Hao's parents were both in life professions, doing some tailoring and cooking, and they were not rich at all. Being able to buy a sword was already the biggest financial support for him. What are your professions? Tan Huan looked at Li Zunil curiously, and the boy in front of him seemed to be handsome. I, Li Zunil, am a priest, and he, Zhao Hao, is a swordsman. Li Zunil replied calmly. Priest. Tan Huan looked at Li Zunil in surprise. Priest. Sha Bingshe and the 4 boys were also surprised. Even Tang Wu, who was standing by, was very surprised. Priest. Didn't teacher Yang Yu tell you about the importance of your profession? Yes, but I think we are all serving the people. He said perfunctorily. He didn't want to reveal that he had a system, and there was no need to say that he chose the priest because of his immortal talent. This was his biggest personal privacy. Since you chose it yourself, there is nothing to say. Get ready, I'm going to start the dungeon. After Tang Wu finished speaking, he stood up and pressed his hand on a button. A blue vortex of light appeared in the room, gorgeous and mysterious. Tang Wu looked at everyone and immediately said, "Hurry up, go in one by one." Tan Huan and Sha Bingshe rushed in hand, followed by 4 well-equipped boys. Li Zunil and Zhao Hao were the last to step into the aperture. Yang Yu asked Tang Wu curiously, "Director Tang, do you think they can pass?" "Based on my experience, it's impossible." "What do you mean?" Yang Yu asked. Tang Wu released his hand holding the button and spoke slowly. "There was a class in the past. All 10 of the top 10 students in the grade came, and some of them even had hidden professions, but they still failed and only made it to the 4th level." His tone was full of sighs. "Our super ghost copy is called a copy, but for students, it is actually more like a warning." Yang Yu raised his eyebrows slightly. "What warning?" "Warning everyone, the monsters in the game are almost difficult to eliminate." Tang Wu said here, his eyes were worried, as if he was worried about something. "Yes, the small island country next to it has been destroyed, and the crisis of human survival is indeed getting stronger and stronger." Yang Yu nodded gently. She thought of the news she had just seen, and her face was full of worry. After a dizzy moment, Li Zunil looked around. In addition to Zhao Hao, there were 6 people including Sha Bingshe. The environment looked like a gladiatorial arena. The venue was polished smooth and hard, covered with mottled sunlight, ancient and mysterious. Surrounded by stone walls tens of meters high, the arena is impossible to walk out. Unlike the arena, there are 3 lighthouses on the field, 7 or 8 meters high. The lighthouses seem indestructible, and there are 4 dark holes on the surrounding stone walls. Li Zunil looked at the hole and guessed that it should be the place where the beast came out. He looked at the lighthouse, which seemed to be climbable. His eyes turned and he immediately grabbed Zhao Hao's hand. "Brother, do you believe me?" Zhao Hao was looking at the environment and was suddenly grabbed by the hand and was startled. He turned his head and saw that it was Li Zunil, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. "To be honest, I don't quite believe it." Li Zunil pursed his lips. "This time, you can believe me." "Tisk, you say that every time." Zhao Hao shook his head. Li Zunil looked at Zhao Hao seriously. "What attribute points did you add?" "I am a swordsman, of course I added labor and physique, which represent strength, physical fitness and speed." Li Zunil whispered mysteriously in Zhao Hao's ear. "Trust me, add all physique in the early stage of level 20, and I will take you flying." Zhao Hao looked at Li Zunil in surprise. "What are you kidding? How can a swordsman not add labor, which represents strength, and add all physique?" Li Zunil looked at Zhao Hao seriously. "I just want to ask you one question. Do you want to take off in the future?" "Of course I do." Zhao Hao spoke without hesitation, but hesitated. "But body only represents physical strength and speed. It has no attack power bonus. How can you kill monsters?" Li Zunil smiled confidently. "Think about it, which is more important, killing monsters or saving your life?" "Of course it's saving your life. As long as the Green Mountains are there, there will be no worries about firewood. As far as saving your life is concerned, body is the most important, and you are not a powerful hidden profession." "You mean, I will increase the speed in the early stage, and running is the best strategy among the 36 strategies." Zhao Hao seemed to understand something. "Oh, right, I got it." Li Zunil clapped his hands. "Then you, a priest, won't add all body, right?" Zhao Hao seemed to think of something incredible. "You guessed it," Li Zunil said casually. Zhao Hao widened his eyes. "But, I seem to remember that the priest skill should add that wisdom attribute to perform better." Li Zunil smiled. "I'm not an ordinary nurse, I'm a poison nurse." "Poison nurse," Zhao Hao muttered thoughtfully. "A nurse who adds all body, you are indeed poisonous." Li Zunil curled his lips and rolled his eyes at Zhao Hao. "I mean, I can poison." "No way, poison, I've never heard of it." "There will always be some special skills that are unexpected. This time you just trust me, I'll let you learn more." Zhao Hao nodded doubtfully. "Okay, then what should I do?" "First, climb up that lighthouse. Second, upgrade attribute points and add all body before level 20. Can I really trust you?" Zhao Hao grabbed Li Zunli's hand and confirmed again and again. "Of course, at worst, I can earn back the attribute gems embedded in your equipment in the future, how about that?" "Okay, I'll remember what you said." Li Zunil and Zhao Hao each found a lighthouse, quickly climbed up, and sat at the highest point of the lighthouse, looking calm and composed. Li Zunil took out a staff, and those who didn't know would think it was a wooden stick. Zhao Hao took out a long sword that looked like scrap iron. Sha Bingshe looked at the strange behavior of the two and was very puzzled. What are these two doing? Tan Huan and the other four well-equipped the boys were also speechless when they saw this scene. It would be fine if the priest climbed up and hid, but the swordsman actually hid as well. Isn't this too cowardly? Tan Huan shook his head gently. Don't worry about the two of them. Let's follow the previous battle formation. Bingshe, you are a magician, you should pay attention to hiding and stand in the center. Wang Hao, Chen Yuan, you two are knights, pay attention to resisting damage. Li Shang, you are a swordsman, you will be the main attacker later. Zhang Tian, you are an archer, pay attention to your position. I am an assassin, I will roam around and assassinate the monsters that pose a great threat. Quote. Tan Huan seemed very skilled, and he made the arrangements in just a few words. Several people skillfully surrounded Sha Bingshe in the center, ready for battle. Li Zunil and Zhao Hao were leisurely, watching the performances of several people, their hearts were calm. At this time, a few big words appeared in the sky. First level. The next second, a heart-pounding sound began to come from the hole in the stone wall. After a low roar, monsters gradually appeared in the 4 holes. There were 2 monsters in each hole. Li Zunil saw the type of monster at a glance, the stone giant. It was in the game monster. There is a record in the manual. Its skin is hard and smooth, showing the color of rock. Its hands and feet are very long, and the 5 big toes connect the legs to the soles of the feet, and the hands connect the arms, which have sharp claws on them. Their faces are clearly defined, with firm and thin facial lines, and deep black eyes make them look very tenacious. After the stone giant approached, Li Zunil checked its detailed information. Stone giant, ordinary monster. Level 1. HP 100%, 1000. Morality 0. Intelligence 2. Physical strength 8. Charm strength 0. Strength 10. Attack 20. Defense 16. Skill 1. Stone stomping. The stone giant will slam the ground, causing spell damage to enemies within a 5-meter range and reducing their speed. In the following 5 seconds, the stone giant's normal attack will cause splash damage to all enemies in front. Skill 2. Stone throwing. It will use the stone throwing skill. It will dig its hands into the ground, pick up a huge stone, and smash it on the enemy's head, causing range damage. This skill is also effective in the air. Introduction. A long time ago, when the world was still in a state of chaos, the ancient gods began to shape the earth. They used endless stones and soil to shape all kinds of creatures, the most powerful of which were stone giants. These stone giants have indestructible bodies and can withstand any attack. They obey the call of ancient gods and guard mysterious temples and treasures. Note: be careful, you may die miserably if you provoke it. Catchphrase: don't be a woman, fight if you dare. Li Zunil saw this key information and thought to himself, if it were an ordinary person, it would be difficult to fight. He had learned about this super ghost copy before. Its monster distribution mechanism is to distribute monsters of corresponding levels according to the highest level of the challenger. Since the challengers are all level 1, the monster level is also level 1. If the highest level of the challenger is 30, then the first level will be a level 30 monster. The level of the monsters in the following levels will gradually increase, and the strength will be stronger. However, the challenger can only be less than or equal to level 30, and those above level 30 cannot enter the super ghost copy. Li Zunil narrowed his eyes slightly, with a bad premonition. If I don't take action, this first level looks very troublesome. The attributes of the stone giant are 20 points in total. According to the mechanism of adding 5 points per level for the job changer, this stone giant is equivalent to a job changer of level 4. The key is that its attribute points are very concentrated. Almost all of them are labor and physique. This means that it is fast and powerful. Looking at its rock-like appearance, its defense must be very high. Moreover, there are 8 stone giants in total. It is equivalent to 8 level 4s against 8 level 1s. And there are 2 people, Li Zunil and Zhao Hao, hiding on the lighthouse to watch the fun. This game looks like a complete crushing. But Li Zunil is confident in himself, after all, he has magical skills. Besides, he has the talent of immortality. He only needs to consider how to get hurt less and suffer less pain. For him, passing the level is inevitable. Zhao Hao looked at the tall stone giant rushing out quickly and was very worried. Brother, I feel like I'm going to die here. Li Zunil rolled his eyes at him. You are on a lighthouse 7 or 8 meters high, and it is only 3 or 4 meters high. It can't hit your knees when it jumps up. What are you worrying about, brother? But I don't think it's good. It seems that it will throw stones. Just hide well. At this time, a stone giant walked heavily and passed under Li Zunil. He smiled and waved his staff quickly, shooting a green light and hitting the stone giant. It was poisonous milk as poisonous. A faint green halo appeared above the stone giant's head and floated above it. Its health began to decrease at a rate of 1% per second. As if it sensed something was wrong, it instantly became manic. It looked for enemies everywhere and looked at Sha Bingshe and others with angry eyes. Then it quickly ran towards them. From the look of it, it seemed to think that they were using dirty means to trick itself, so its anger value soared. Li Zunil raised his eyebrows. It seems to have found the wrong person. Seeing that the stone giant was about to rush out of his attack range, he added fuel to the fire and gave it poisonous milk as poisonous again. Another light green halo appeared on its head, that is, it had 2 light green halos on top. Its health was decreasing faster. Since it was out of Li Zunli's attack range, he could no longer cast poison milk as poisonous on it. Otherwise, he wanted to try again to see if the poison could really be infinitely stacked. At this time, why is this stone giant so angry? Archer Zhang Tian looked at the suddenly manic stone giant and felt something was wrong. He immediately shot at the stone giant with his bow and arrow. Ding! The arrow landed on the stone giant and made a ding sound. Clear and piercing. Then the arrow was ruthlessly deflected and flew high, as if mocking his overestimation of his own abilities. Zhang Tian's face changed slightly. The damage from his arrow seemed to be very limited, and only hurt its fur. But when he carefully checked the health of the stone giant, his eyebrows raised high and he exclaimed loudly. Isn't it right? The health of this stone giant has dropped by 10%, and it is still dropping. He kept speculating, did his arrow hit its aorta? Or is he the chosen one, and his attack is accompanied by metaphysics? Countless strange thoughts about his upcoming takeoff kept emerging in his mind. At this time, Sha Bingshe, Tan Huan and others all heard Zhang Tian's exclamation. They also immediately checked the status of the stone giant. Sure enough, this stone giant is very wrong, and its health is continuously dropping. Tan Huan spoke first. Everyone focus on attacking this stone giant first. After speaking, Mage Sha Bingshe, Archer Zhang Tian, Assassin Tan Huan, Swordsman Li Shang and other 4 people launched a full-scale attack on this stone giant. That's full firepower. Zhao Hao was terrified watching from the side, thinking, well equipped, it's different. He and Li Shang are both swordsmen, the other's sword is shining, and his sword is, like a piece of scrap metal. And the cloaks, armor, shoes, wrist guards, and waist guards on them were all intact. And he was like a beggar, with nothing. Li Zunil was speechless when he saw the scene in front of him. He almost rolled his eyes. These were all stone giants that were doomed to die, so why bother with them? He wanted to explain, but when he thought about the problem that the equipment might not be easy to distribute when killing monsters later, he gave up the idea. He wanted to wait until these people were all super ghosts before he took action. Equipment can't be distributed to outsiders. After all, equipment is equal to money, and money is equal to a bright future. He has been short of money for a long time, and even cheated Zhao Hao of his living expenses. Therefore, he sometimes feels guilty, but not too much, because he believes that he will pay it back sooner or later. And this super ghost copy is the first step for him to pay it back. Sha Bingshe and his group, except for the 2 knights, all the other 4 people were working hard to attack the stone giant. Soon, after the stone giant wailed, it fell down with a bang, smashing to the ground, and the dust flew. It seemed that an equipment was also exploded, but it looked very low level. Tan Huan immediately picked up the equipment. When we leave the dungeon, we will distribute it uniformly. Do you have any objection? Everyone shook their heads, indicating that they had no objection. Of course, they would not care about Li Zunil and Zhao Hao. In their opinion, these two people were just here to make soy sauce. It was a blessing for them to be able to enter the dungeon together. At this time, Li Zunil looked at the time. It took more than 40 seconds to kill the stone giant. It seemed that they attacked for a long time, but did not significantly speed up the death of the stone giant. It can be said that the damage of their poison milk is poisonous was at least more than 80%. At this time, the other 7 stone giants were already approaching, fighting fiercely with Xia Bingshe and her group. Li Zunil looked at the 6 people fighting hard below, holding his chin with his right hand and thinking. Is it appropriate to watch from the sidelines? It must be appropriate. Thinking of what the other party said before entering the dungeon, each of them should take care of their own business, he did not feel any guilt in his heart. Zhao Hao, who was not far away, looked at Li Zunil. Brother, is it really okay for us to watch like this? Or, you go down to help them. Forget it, I don't have much equipment, I don't think I can handle it. Then you go ahead. Fake benevolence. At this time, one of them suddenly shouted, Dragon Knight Holy Shield. Li Zunil was attracted by this voice, and he immediately looked at the man. He found that a layer of light golden color appeared on the man, which was gorgeous and dazzling. Tan Huan, who was standing by, immediately exclaimed, Wang Hao, you are a hidden profession, Dragon Knight. Wang Hao chuckled, yes, I am indeed a hidden profession, Dragon Knight. What about your dragon? The dragon has not been found yet. Tan Huan raised his eyebrows. Then I wish you to find it soon. We may only be able to pass 2 more levels at most. Wang Hao waved his hand. Don't you have the confidence to pass the level? Tan Huan shook his head helplessly. Impossible, we underestimated the super ghost copy. What a bad decision. Tan Huan muttered in her heart. She thought they had made a bad decision. The reason why they chose to challenge the Super Ghost dungeon at level 1 was that they thought the monsters in the dungeon at level 1 were relatively weak. But they could use money to get fully armed. With the increase and decrease of the two, it was not a dream to pass the level. This was the conclusion drawn by previous challengers. The lower the level, the easier it is to challenge. The higher the level, the more difficult it is. But they obviously underestimated the difficulty of the Super Ghost dungeon. According to the current attributes of the level 1 monsters, it can be imagined that the attributes of the monsters in the remaining 9 levels are probably extremely terrifying. At this time, Xia Bingshe also looked very surprised. I didn't expect that, Wang Hao, you are actually a Dragon Knight. Wang Hao smiled proudly. Hehe, it's just that I was a little luckier. Tan Huan and Xia Bingshe looked at Wang Hao with surprise. Wang Hao gradually lost himself in the gazes of the two beauties. He waved his hand and said, Don't worry. I'll be the tank. I can take it. Chen Yuan, you can take action when necessary. Chen Yuan was another knight. Seeing Wang Hao taking on so much responsibility, he couldn't help but curl his lips and said, Okay, take it easy. But he was thinking, okay, you've been the center of attention. I'm afraid the school beauty is leaning towards me now. It looked like he was just a supporting role. He actually let him install it. He looked at Wang Hao with a little more envy and jealousy. It was a pity that he wasn't a hidden profession. Although his family was not short of money, the hidden profession was obviously stronger than the ordinary profession with the same equipment. As far as he knew, Wang Hao was also a rich kid. Including archer Zhang Tian and swordsman Li Shang, they were all rich kids. Among the top 10 in the school rankings, several people are not from wealthy families and have no chance to team up with Xia Bingshe. In the arena, with the appearance of Wang Haolong's knight identity, everyone's pressure suddenly decreased. As the main attacker, swordsman Li Shang felt very tired. After attacking for nearly 2 minutes, he finally felt something was wrong. The sword in my hand is level 1, 1 star, and labor has added 5 points. Why is the damage to this stone giant so low? It's normal. Stone men are hard to kill. It's normal. Tan Huan explained on the side. Li Shang frowned. Then I'm surprised. Why did the first stone giant die so quickly? It fell within a minute. I don't know. Tan Huan shook his head while looking for an assassination opportunity. She vaguely saw the first stone giant, and there seemed to be 2 light green halos on his head. The color is very light, and it may not be clear if you don't pay attention. She was still wondering, is there a bug in the copy? At this moment, the basic formation on the scene was that Wang Hao was responsible for pulling 6 stone giants, and all the others concentrated on attacking 1 stone giant. Since Wang Hao's body was shining with golden light, his defense seemed to have improved a lot. I'm so tired. He attacked the stone giant from time to time, and then ran all the way, causing the stone giant to chase him wildly, much like a kite. Li Zunil watched with relish on the side, as if watching a play. Not to mention, Wang Hao's pulling was really a close call. He couldn't help but look up to Wang Hao a little. But in fact, Wang Hao felt very bitter. He already regretted that he had just boasted and taken on all the things. Although his defense had improved a lot, his speed had also improved, and with the equipment, he could barely drag it. But that stone giant actually threw stones. He was hit by stones from time to time. It made him look down on himself. But he had no way to express his pain, so he could only endure it, thinking to himself, "Don't brag next time." As he was running, Li Zunil saw him slap himself twice. I don't know why. Is he trying to keep himself up? Chen Yuan, another knight, was much more relaxed, mainly to attract the attention of the stone giant. When he glanced at the embarrassed Wang Hao, he was secretly happy. I told you to pretend. I told you to pretend. Dragon Knight without a dragon. See how long you can pretend. Finally, the second stone giant wailed and fell down. 6 minutes had passed. In other words, it took them 6 minutes to kill a stone giant. This was under the premise that the Dragon Knight was involved. At this time, Zhao Hao suddenly shouted, "Why is there a stone giant under me?" Li Zunil immediately cast his eyes on Zhao Hao. It turned out that there was indeed a stone giant, right under the lighthouse where Zhao Hao was. He was staring at it with his eyes as big as copper bells. Zhao Hao let out a low roar from his throat. He looked like he wanted to smash him into a pulp. Li Zunil looked at Zhao Hao and said calmly, "Brother, calm down, he can't reach you." Zhao Hao was relieved when he heard this. That's right, this guy can't hit him, what's there to be afraid of? The next second, his attitude changed drastically, and he made a grimace. Come on, bite me, hee hee. Don't be a woman, let's fight if you dare." The stone giant saw Zhao Hao dancing and was so angry that he spoke. It waved its fists angrily and smashed the lighthouse pole. Clang, clang, clang. The lighthouse pole was shaken by the smash and made a loud noise. Zhao Hao was so scared that he immediately put away his grimace and became well behaved. However, the stone giant didn't intend to let him go, and continued to smash the lighthouse pole. Zhao Hao was so scared that he shouted, "Wang Hao, you quickly lead this stone giant away." Wang Hao's face turned black. It was so hard to get rid of a stone giant, and he was asked to lead him back. Isn't this adding insult to injury? He said helplessly, "I can't take care of myself, brother, please help me." Wang Hao ran while observing the situation on the scene. Zhao Hao's face turned black, and he looked bitter. What the hell, aren't we all minding our own business? Why did the problem come to me? Wang Hao, who was running, suddenly found Li Zunil on the lighthouse pole. He seemed to be a priest. Then he suffered a lot of injuries, maybe he could treat himself. Good idea. Thinking of this, he immediately adjusted his direction and ran in the direction of Li Zunil. Li Zunil saw Wang Hao running towards him and immediately cheered up. What is this guy going to do? Do you still want me to attract monsters? Wang Hao panted and looked at Li Zunil. Brother, how about healing me? Li Zunil raised his eyebrows when he heard this. No problem. After that, he waved his staff and cast a healing spell on Wang Hao below. Although Wang Hao felt a little better, he always felt something was wrong. Brother, I feel that your healing spell seems to be useless. Well, I don't have this equipment, so the healing effect is very weak. He was embarrassed to say that his attributes were all physical, not intelligence. Quote. Wang Hao was speechless. He wanted to say something, but when he saw the 5 stone giants chasing him, he ran away. At this time, Zhao Hao still stayed on the lighthouse calmly, motionless. Suddenly, his pupils dilated. He saw the stone giant put his hands into the ground and took out a big stone. He immediately screamed in panic. Help, help, it's killing people with stones. Tisk tisk tisk. A grown man. A grown man who aspires to be a swordsman was actually scared by a monster. Coward, coward. Li Zunul saw it all, and his contempt was clear. Sha Bingshe and the others who killed the stone giant were also speechless when they heard Zhao Hao's cry for help. Is it that serious? So scared. After a few seconds of surprise, they immediately rushed to Zhao Hao's position. It was not to save Zhao Hao, but because they were ready to kill the next stone giant. And it just so happened that one was left alone. At this time, the stone giant had already thrown the stone in his hand at Zhao Hao on the lighthouse. Oh my god! Zhao Hao looked at the adult-sized stone flying towards him, his face moved, and his hand slipped. His whole body slid down 1 meter. The stone barely flew away by brushing against his head. Then he immediately climbed back up in a panic, fearing that he would fall into the attack range of the stone giant and then be killed by it. Li Zunul felt very relieved when he saw this scene. Your response this time is very spiritual. Zhao Hao squeezed out a smile and pulled the corner of his mouth. It's really scary, mainly because I don't have equipment. He attributed all the reasons to the lack of equipment, not to his own cowardice. At this moment, Dragon Knight Wang Hao, already overwhelmed, ran back to Li Zunul again. Brother, give me another bite of healing. No problem. Li Zunul did not skimp on his skills, and raised his hand to give Wang Hao a healing spell. Wang Hao finally couldn't help asking, Brother, did you add the attribute point wisdom? No. ... Wang Hao looked at the stone giant who caught up with him and fled again helplessly. He was speechless and very strange. This man is a priest, why not add intelligence? Without intelligence, how can the priest's skills be fully utilized? Isn't this scientific? This has nothing to do with whether there is equipment or not, this is a matter of common sense. How could this person not even know this common sense? This is the kind of person who ranks at the bottom of the class. He kept guessing in his mind. At this time, Li Zunul looked at the 5 stone giants passing by below and simply raised his hand. Hang the poison milk is poisonous of the King of Hell's soul-taking technique on all 5 stone giants. And it was added twice. He thought it was too slow. If it dragged on like this, it would take half an hour. Just get rid of a few stone giants, quickly enter the second round, and then let these people be carried away by the monsters. The 5 stone giants were hit by poison milk as poisonous and there were 2 faint green halos on their heads. Their blood volume continued to decrease. Suddenly, they became manic and uneasy, and the speed of chasing Wang Hao increased sharply. Wang Hao was frightened and sped up. He couldn't help wondering. What the hell is going on with them? Are they running out of patience? And then the attributes are improved. In his panic, he didn't notice the 2 light green fatal halos on the stone giant's head. That was the culprit. On the other side, Sha Bingshe and the other 5 were focusing their fire on the stone giant under Zhao Hao's lighthouse. Gorgeous magic, sharp swords, cold arrows, tricky daggers, and powerful spears were all blasted at the stone giant. Sha Bingshui's well-equipped challengers were obviously stronger than Li Zunul and Zhao Hao. Zhang Tian also inlaid his bow with a 1-star labor attribute gem. A 1-star labor attribute gem can add 5 points of labor. This attribute gem has a market value of 2,000 Sha coins. You know, Li Zunli's monthly living expenses are only 1,000 Sha coins. Only the 2nd generation of the rich would do this kind of prodigal behavior. But it must be said that the stone giant is really tough. Even when facing a well-equipped challenger with full output, its health drops very slowly. Inadvertently, Li Zunul found that he had upgraded. The corners of his mouth rose slightly, obviously after the 6 stone giants died, he upgraded himself. He added attribute points to the body attribute. For him, the kite method is his mainstream tactic in the future. Release the poison and run. Then he just needs to wait quietly for the other party to be killed by the King of Hell. He can already imagine that the enemy can't stand him, and can't get rid of his frustration. Wang Hao, who was running, suddenly felt that there seemed to be no movement behind him. Looking back, his pupils shook. He shouted in surprise, how come all these stone giants are dead? Actually, all dead. Zhao Hao, who was the most leisurely, was the first to pay attention to Wang Hao's situation and found that the 5 stone giants were indeed dead. He turned his head and looked at Li Zunil, with a look in his eyes. Question, that means. Did you kill him? Li Zunil looked at Zhao Hao, nodded slightly, and winked at him. Zhao Hao raised his eyebrows, obviously very surprised. Could it be that his brother really took off? Was he finally going to hug someone's thigh? His heart suddenly became hot, and he felt inexplicably ecstatic. He had always envied others for having such an opportunity to hug someone's thigh. Who would have thought that one day he would be able to hug someone's thigh? He couldn't help wondering if the ancestral tomb at home was emitting green smoke, and was thinking about finding an opportunity to burn incense. When he thought that the ancestral tomb outside the city might be occupied by game monsters, he gave up the idea again. Who would have thought that ancestor worship has become a luxury now? However, his eyes looking at Li Zunil were still full of heat. The little entanglements in his heart that were pitted by Li Zunil had also disappeared. On the other side, Tan Huan and Sha Bingshe turned to look in Wang Hao's direction after hearing Wang Hao's surprise. They found that the 5 stone giants chasing him were all lying flat. They even found a few pieces of equipment on the ground. Everyone was stunned. It took them a long time to kill a stone giant, but how come all 5 stone giants were dead in a blink of an eye? This is far from the truth. Is there a bug in this super ghost copy? Doubts filled everyone's mind. Just when everyone was confused, the last stone giant, while everyone was not paying attention, slapped Chen Yuan, who was closest to him, with a big punch. He was slapped several meters away and fell heavily to the ground, with dust flying everywhere. Wow, it hurts so much. Chen Yuan's screams brought everyone back to their senses from shock and confusion. They then remembered that there was still a stone giant alive. So, they moved carefully again and launched a dazzling attack on the last stone giant. Wang Hao had also rushed into the crowd and replaced Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan's mouth was bleeding, and he lay on the ground, just lying there. He kept taking hemostatic medicine. He looked at the stone giant with a little more fear. He felt that he might die if he was hit by it twice. At this time, Li Zunil looked at the equipment on the ground with a burning gaze. He was hesitating whether to go down and pick it up. Although the equipment was low level, it was better than nothing. And it could sell for some money, right? But when he thought of the remaining 9 levels and there were higher level and better equipment, he gave up the idea. There was no need to lose face for this little equipment. When these people died in the next level and left the copy, he could do whatever he wanted. Boom. Finally, the last stone giant collapsed. At this time, Tan Huan shouted loudly, "Boss, I just saw you take action." As soon as this was said, everyone was very surprised. "Boss, is there any hidden professional expert here?" But there are only a few people, except for Wang Hao, the Dragon Knight, who is very different. There seems to be no special person. Like everyone else, Sha Bingshe also looked at Tan Huan in surprise. "Wanwan, what are you talking about?" However, Tan Huan was full of confidence, slowly took light steps and walked towards Li Zunil. "Boss, don't pretend, I saw you take action." After saying that, she looked straight at Li Zunil. Seeing this scene, Sha Bingshe was stunned, and Wang Hao and others were even more stunned. Including Zhao Hao on the lighthouse, they were a little surprised. Chen Yuan, who was lying on the ground, also slowly got up at this moment and looked at Li Zunil thoughtfully. "Isn't he a priest? Boss, is this Tan Huan having an illusion? What's the big boss or not?" Li Zunil said indifferently. "I didn't expect that he would be discovered even though he made such a covert move. This Tan Huan's observation ability is quite something." He thought highly of Tan Huan in his heart. It seems that the people on the list are not good people. Tan Huan held his chin with his right hand, looked at Li Zunil, and said confidently, "Don't forget, I am an assassin with strong observation ability." "Then what? Since the strange death of the first stone giant, I have been suspicious of you and the swordsman on the lighthouse, so I have been keeping an eye on you too throughout the whole process. So I saw you make a move, and the faint green halo on the stone giant's head was your masterpiece, right?" When Li Zunil was hesitating about how to answer, a voice suddenly came to his mind. "Ding, you have triggered the system task, please claim it." He immediately checked the system task. 1. Find a reason to argue that you are not a big boss and convince everyone. Completion reward. Title of Eloquent Little Expert. 2. Frankly say, okay, I admit that I am indeed a hidden boss, and these are a piece of cake for me. Completion reward. 1 star labor attribute gem +1. 3. Remain silent, play aloof, and be a quiet handsome man. Completion reward. Beauty attribute point +1. Lee Zunil looked around and chose the second option directly. Attribute gems can be exchanged for money, worth about 2,000 summer coins. That eloquent little expert title is all nonsense. As for the beauty attribute points, he felt that a little more would not be too much, and a little less would not be too little, and there was no need for it. He cleared his throat and pretended to be profound. Okay, I admit that I am indeed a hidden boss, and these are a piece of cake for me. As soon as this sentence came out, Tan Huan's eyes suddenly brightened. Xia Bingshe and others did not expect that a priest would dare to say such a thing. All of them widened their eyes and could not believe it at all. Even Zhao Hao on the lighthouse almost let go and fell down. Thinking, this guy is really good at pretending. He is not afraid of getting his tongue stuck when he brags. What if he gets slapped in the face? Where will he put his face? Use your toes to dig a crack in the ground. At this time, a voice sounded in Li Zunli's mind again. Ding! Congratulations on getting a 1-star labor attribute gem. Li Zunil checked his character backpack and found a light blue gem. There was a faint star spinning on the gem. It turned out that a 1-star attribute gem looked like this. This was the first time he saw a real attribute gem. He had only seen it in textbooks before, and it was obviously very different. Li Zunil was very happy. Although he could not use this attribute gem himself, it was 2,000 yuan. I can sell it for money and eat something delicious. He didn't know why the system started giving him gems. Before, they were all beauty attribute points. They looked good but were useless. On the other side, Xia Bingshe, Wang Hao and others immediately came forward and started talking. So, you were the one who killed the first stone giant. You also killed the 5 stone giants behind. In other words, we only killed 2 stone giants. How did you do that as a priest? A series of questions made Li Zunil feel a little confused. He was hesitant about whether to answer them one by one. At this time, a voice sounded in his mind again. Ding! You have triggered the system task again, please receive it. Give something again. He immediately checked the task. 1. Tell them coldly. Mountain people have their own tricks, don't ask about social affairs. Completion reward. A level 2, 1-star magic cloak. 2. Answer their questions patiently one by one and be friendly to them. Completion reward. A pair of school beauty black stockings. Li Zunil looked around and hesitated. Magic cloak, school beauty black stockings. After thinking about it, he chose one. The magic cloak should be exchanged for money. School beauty black stockings are not easy to sell. Even if they can be sold, it is difficult to tell the source. He was calm and looked indifferent. Mountain people have their own tricks, don't ask about social affairs. As soon as these words came out, everyone seemed to be cast a spell and fell silent. Zhao Hao laughed at the side. Brother, you really pretended. Li Zunil raised his eyebrows, his face was not red, his heart was not beating. Be quiet. Zhao Hao heard this, pursed his lips, rolled his eyes, sat calmly on the lighthouse, and consciously shut up. Li Zunil looked at the magic cape on his character's backpack with great joy. Intelligence, attribute +8, beauty, attribute +2. His mouth corners slightly raised, good stuff, and can be exchanged for some money. After a while, Tan Huan spoke first. Then we won't ask, but we want to team up with you, what do you think? Xia Bingshe pulled Tan Huan's hand, looking surprised. The expression on her face seemed to ask, why did you make a decision without discussing it? However, Tan Huan gently patted Xia Bingshui's wrist, indicating that she was relieved. Li Zunil raised his eyebrows, a little surprised. Team up, but we said before that each of us would take care of our own business. Tan Huan smiled awkwardly. We did underestimate you before, but now we hope to cooperate with you, and we will pass more levels, and it would be best if we can pass them. Cooperation. Pass. Yes. Tan Huan nodded firmly. Pass the level. Who gave you the confidence? Li Zunil was puzzled. Did she see something? Xia Bingshe, Wang Hao and others beside him were all confused. With one more nurse, they could pass the level. The first level was so difficult, and there were 9 more levels to come. They thought that they might lose people in the next level. Although this priest solved several stone giants, it would be as difficult as ascending to heaven to pass the level, right? Why did he do that? The super ghost copy is not a joke, and the difficulty can be seen from the first level. Unity is strength, and dreams are still needed. What if you see a ghost? Tan Huan spread his hands. Li Zunil thought for a moment, frowned, and shook his head. I don't want to team up with you. Why? Tan Huan was puzzled. In this way, all the things that explode belong to me, and I can sell them for money. Ah, this is not appropriate, Wang Hao on the side said with a hint of hesitation. Not only Wang Hao, but several others also had such doubts. All belong to him. He is a priest holding a broken stick. How can this work? Is it based on appearance? If it is based on appearance, everyone present seems to be good looking, except for the swordsman on the lighthouse. They really don't understand why he is so confident. Tan Huan was a little embarrassed at this time. She originally wanted to ask for cooperation, but the other party had a big appetite. This is obviously not appropriate, and he can't explain it to others. Li Zunil was very calm and said calmly, okay, then wait until you are carried away, and I will pass the level myself. The voice of this sentence is not heavy, but the weight is very heavy. It's like a dynamite being detonated. Everyone was stunned on the spot, suspecting that they had hallucinations. Xia Bingshui's pretty face was full of disbelief, and she spoke first. Pass. Are you sure you can pass? Xia Bingshui looked at the careless Li Zunil seriously, as if she could see a clue from his face. Wang Hao and others also looked at Li Zunil seriously, trying to guess how true or false his words were. Tan Huan thought for a moment and immediately spoke. Boss, we only want the title of passing the level. You can lead us through the level. If you have suitable equipment, you can sell it to us at a price higher than the market price. How about that? Before Li Zunil answered, Wang Hao and others said. If he can pass the level, I respect him as my big brother. Yes, if he can pass the level, I am willing to be his little brother. I just don't know if he can do it. Yes, if he can really pass the level, I will eat shit live. Tan Huan immediately turned his head and looked at everyone. If we don't form a team, we may only be able to pass the 3rd or 4th level and die in the dungeon. If we really pass the level with him, we can not only get the title of passing the level, but also get some level upgrades. In addition, you are not short of money. You have money to buy equipment, but passing this dungeon cannot be bought with money. When everyone heard it, they felt that what Tan Huan said made sense. For a moment, everyone was waiting for Li Zunil to nod. After all, they are not short of money or equipment, only level and fame. If they can clear the Super Ghost Dungeon, it will be worth bragging for several years. After thinking for a moment, Xia Bingshui looked at Li Zunil and said softly. How about this, if there is any equipment we can use, we can buy it at double the market price, okay. Li Zunil thought it was okay. That's fine. He mainly wants to make money, and the equipment can be sold at a higher price than the market price, and he doesn't have to attract monsters himself, so he can have fun. Although some experience will be taken away, it will not have much impact. He will definitely have to brush the dungeon a few more times in the future, without any pressure. Tan Huan looked around Wang Hao and others and found that no one objected, so she spoke loudly. Boss Li Zunil, we have discussed it. You take all the things and we just get some experience. After that, she took out the equipment she had picked up in her backpack before. This piece of equipment is just exploded, and it's also for you. Wang Hao suddenly said, Li Zunil, are you sure you can pass the level? Do you need us to lend you some equipment? Li Zunil shook his head gently and said, lend equipment? No, but I must point out that although you can pass the level, you may not survive to the end. You have to find a way to save your life. Of course, just hide anyway. Wang Hao smiled carelessly and understood what the other party meant. Everyone also understood why Li Zunil and Zhao Hao climbed up the lighthouse pole in the first place. Li Zunil waved his hand. Zhao Hao, go down and pick up equipment. Zhao Hao was stunned. Pick up equipment. He looked at the equipment lying on the ground with a fiery look. He quickly slid down from the lighthouse pole, and said as he ran. That lighthouse pole is mine, don't try to occupy my lighthouse pole. Everyone pursed their lips speechlessly, as if someone would steal your lighthouse pole. But at this time, Archer Zhang Tian inadvertently climbed up the third lighthouse pole. That was the last lighthouse pole on the scene. Wang Hao and others looked at this scene with contempt in their eyes. I say, Zhang Tian, do you really need to do that? Zhang Tian said shamelessly. As we all know, archers are long-range attacks, standing high and shooting far. I'm not a coward, it's a tactical need. Tisk. Wang Hao and others didn't believe what he said at all. If it was said at other times, it would be reasonable, but at this time, it would be a bit suspicious of trying to cover up the truth. But apart from contempt, everyone didn't plan. Very quickly, Zhao Hao picked up several pieces of equipment, and even took the equipment in Tan Huan's hand. Quickly climbed back to the lighthouse pole. He was very happy, his face was almost broken by laughter. These equipment can be sold for hundreds or thousands of yuan. This is only the first level, and the equipment in the next 9 levels may be worth even more. This may not matter to rich kids like Xia Bingshe, but it is too good for Zhao Hao and Li Zunil, who have been poor for a long time. At this time, a few big words appeared in the sky again. The second level. Li Zunil immediately shouted, "Everyone remember, lead the monster to my lighthouse pole, I will take action. Everyone just save your life." As soon as the voice fell, in the arena, 4 dark holes appeared again. Monsters. Completely different from the stone giant, this time there are dense monsters. It is short, with red eyes, sharp claws, fangs, a red hat, and steel forks and spears in its hands. Goblin. Li Zunil recognized the type of monster at a glance. He carefully checked the attributes of the goblin. Goblin, ordinary monster. Level 2. HP 100%, 2000. Morality -5. Intelligence 4. Physical strength 12. Charm -2. Strength 8. Attack 25. Defense 14. Skill 1. Throwing skill. Goblin often throws stones or other objects to attack the enemy, causing certain damage. Skill 2. Stealing skill. Goblin often tries to steal items from other creatures, especially valuable treasures and equipment. Players need to pay attention to their inventory at all times to prevent being stolen by goblins. Skill 3. Invisibility skill. Goblins have a certain invisibility ability, which allows them to be invisible for a certain period of time and avoid enemy attacks. Skill 4. Fast movement skill. Goblins are very agile and can move quickly to avoid enemy attacks or hunt prey. Introduction. Goblins, a short and ugly creature, originated from the Red Hat legend in Germanic mythology. Legend has it that they live in a ruined castle on the border between England and Scotland. They have red eyes, claws, fangs, wear a red hat, and carry a spear in their left hand. They will kill all passers-by who get lost in the castle, and will dye their hats red with the blood of the victims. Note: be careful, they often come in groups and are cruel and ruthless. Catchphrase: those beautiful girls and gold and silver treasures are all ours. Li Zunil was stunned. How can there be such a wicked monster? Moral is actually -5. Charm is -2. How many bad things have you done? It's actually negative. How many decent women have you robbed? After complaining, he observed carefully and found that the most obvious difference in this round is big quantity and fullness. There are a lot of goblins, estimated to be no less than 100. And the goblins are very fast, with physique reaching 12. Li Zunil said inwardly, if it weren't for me, you would definitely be sent away. Li Zunil carefully analyzed his poison milk as poisonous. He is now level 2, and can poison 20 targets within a range of 20 meters. It only takes a few rounds to kill the goblins. Tan Huan was very surprised. Why are there level 2 monsters? And there are so many of them. Who has reached level 2? She carefully avoided the goblins and asked loudly. Li Zunil sat on the lighthouse pole, calm. I have reached level 2, what's wrong? Tan Huan obviously didn't expect that the first one to upgrade was actually this nurse. Everyone was also a little surprised that the priest was the first to upgrade, which didn't make sense. Li Zunil shouted loudly at this time. Hurry up and lure the monsters over so that I can take action. Hearing this, Wang Hao, Chen Yuan, Li Shang, Xia Bingshe and Tan Huan were surprised for a moment, and then they all led the monsters and ran in the direction of Li Zunil. There was no battle formation like before. The densely packed monsters made it impossible for them to form a formation. Everyone was sighing in their hearts. If there wasn't a big boss by chance, it would be very difficult to get through this level. Hundreds of level 2 goblins were enough to tear them apart. Li Zunal cast poison milk as poisonous on the monsters under the lighthouse every second. Regardless of whether the monsters were poisoned or not, he would poison them. The poisoned ones died faster, and the non-poisoned ones died soon. So some goblins had 4 or 5 fatal halos on their heads, and some had 1 or 2 fatal halos. Tan Huan, Sha Bingshe and others were very smart. They kept running under Li Zunal with the monsters. They saw that Li Zunli's green halo had a very short CD, and they couldn't believe it. He cast the skill in the last second and cast it again in the next second. And they were carefully observing the situation in which the green halo cast by Li Zunal made the monsters lose blood. The conclusion they came to surprised them. This is definitely a very advanced skill. The poison can be stacked, and the CD is very short. It seems that the blood loss is very severe. I immediately felt envious and jealous. On the other side, while attracting monsters, Wang Hao looked at Zhang Tian with a dissatisfied tone. Zhang Tian, are you embarrassed? The school beauties are running around to attract monsters. What's the matter with you sitting on the lighthouse? Are you embarrassed? Zhang Tian's old face turned red, and he seemed to feel a little embarrassed. So he slid down from the lighthouse pole and joined the lineup of attracting monsters. Wang Hao looked at Zhao Hao and Li Zunal again. When he thought that Zhao Hao had no equipment and Li Zunal was a priest, he didn't say anything. At this moment, a goblin saw Tan Huan and Sha Bingshe, and his eyes were red with excitement. All the beautiful girls are ours. With a fatal halo on its head, it rushed towards Sha Bingshe excitedly. Seeing this, Sha Bingshe was a little panicked and ran away a little faster. At this time, Wang Hao, who always pays attention to the school beauties, shouted, "Don't panic, let me do it." After that, Wang Hao rushed forward and stopped the goblin for Sha Bingshe. Zhao Hao on the lighthouse pole looked at Wang Hao with disdain, and said to himself, "Tisk tisk tisk, he actually showed his courtesy. Typical sour grapes. If he had good equipment, he would definitely go down and show it." After all, Sha Bingshe is the goddess in his heart. But obviously, the conditions do not allow him to show off. At the scene, 6 figures were doing one thing, attracting monsters. If it was an ordinary first-level challenger, it would be difficult to outrun the goblin. But these 6 people are not ordinary people. They are well equipped and their attribute bonuses are indeed considerable, which can match the speed of the goblin. However, it is limited to the running speed. If you want to attack the goblin, it will inevitably delay your movements. They will also be swarmed by the goblins. They are now completely surviving in the cracks. If they are not careful, they will probably be stopped by these goblins. At that time, what awaits them is only death and regret. At this time, Zhao Hao looked at the equipment bursting on the ground with burning eyes, and his heart was itching. He wanted to go down to pick up the equipment, but there were many goblins, and it would be difficult to go down. "I can't touch it, I'm itching." Although he was eager to fight, he was still trying to restrain himself. Time passed by minute. About 5 minutes. More than 100 goblins fell down. Tan Huan, Sha Bingshe and others were out of breath, but fortunately no one was seriously injured. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Only Li Zunal was not nervous. Because he knew that he would kill the goblins sooner or later. Everyone has been upgraded to a higher level. Li Zunal is now level 3, and the others are all 2 levels. There is no doubt that Li Zunal once again added attribute points to physique. Now his physique has reached 16 points. Logically speaking, his speed is faster than that of the goblins. His poison milk skill has also been upgraded from 20 meters and 20 targets to 30 meters and 30 targets. On the way, he was thrown a spear by the goblin, but he narrowly avoided it. Zhao Hao also added all attribute points to physique. He was already impressed by Li Zunli's magical skills. So he decided to add all physique in the early stage. After all, there were 100 goblins just now. The attribute is equivalent to a level 5 job changer, and Li Zunal solved it just like that. Killing monsters without bleeding. Thigh. Absolutely thigh. Rishan, go pick up the equipment. After Li Zunil finished speaking, he looked at Zhao Hao, only to find that Zhao Hao had already been picking up equipment. The action was quite agile. He raised his eyebrows, a little surprised. This guy is really bad at everything, but he is the best at picking up leaks. He glanced and saw that there were about 8 or 9 pieces of equipment on the ground. It is estimated that they can be sold for some money. At this time, Tan Huan, Xia Bingshe and others were not only surprised by Li Zunli's amazing skills, but also looked at the equipment. Xia Bingshe asked directly, is there any equipment that magicians can use? Yes, if there is level 2 equipment, we can buy it at double the market price. Tan Huan also nodded. If there is equipment that increases body, I will buy it first. Wang Hao also spoke at this time. He has figured it out. Next, whoever has the speed will survive to the end. But obviously, everyone has discovered this problem. Haha, Wang Hao, you are making a lot of calculations. If there is one that increases physical strength, I want to buy it too. The knight Chen Yuan on the side laughed. I want to buy it too. Watching everyone discussing equipment, Li Zunil suddenly remembered that he had a magic cloak in his bag. Level 2, 1-star magic cloak. Intelligence +8, beauty +2, the style seems a bit feminine, he doesn't like it very much. He spoke loudly. I have a level 2, 1-star magic cloak here, intelligence 8, beauty 2, does anyone want to buy it? At this time, Wang Hao suddenly said, how much is it? I'll buy it and give it to Xia Bingshe. Li Zunil was stunned when he heard it. This is really a big injustice. Just when he thought about it, someone else spoke. No, I'll buy it and give it to Xia Bingshe. Swordsman Li Shang also spoke. Don't, I'll do it, don't fight with me. Chen Yuan also joined in. Xia Bingshe was a little surprised and was stunned for a moment. Li Zunil didn't expect there would be such a few big enemies, and said calmly. 1 star is a little more expensive than the non-star one, just give 1,800 yuan. 1,800 yuan. Is 600 yuan okay? Wang Hao asked. Chapter 11. Chen Yuan laughed. Wang Hao, forget about your plan. I think this can be sold for at least 800 yuan. Li Shang disagreed. An item worth 800 yuan. Buy it as a gift to the school bell. Where's the sincerity? Chen Yuan ignored Li Shang and waved his hand. Li Zunil, take out that magic cloak, let me see how it looks. Li Zunil was very surprised. What? A magic cloak, can you play with it? Isn't it just a magic cloak? He looked at everyone speechlessly and shook his head. Then he took out the feminine magic cloak, and everyone saw it. The cloak was azure blue, shining with light, beautiful, gorgeous, mysterious and elegant. Chen Yuan immediately boasted. If nothing else, this magic cloak looks great. The school bell will definitely look good wearing it, I'll give you 800. Just make it 900. Li Shang said lightly. No more nonsense, 1,000. Wang Hao was unwilling to fall behind. Li Zunil looked at this scene and was ecstatic. This can still be sold at an auction. He immediately spoke happily. 1,000 once. 1,000 twice. 1,013. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted. Chen Yuan spoke again. I'll bid 1,011. Add a little, 1,012. Li Shang chased closely. 1,013. Wang Hao still didn't give up. Zhao Hao, Zhang Tian and Tan Huan were all dumbfounded. These people are really stupid and rich. The actual value of this magic cloak is only about 8 or 900. Li Zunil waved his hand quickly. Is there any higher price? 2,000. I bought it myself, Xia Bingshe said lightly. Everyone sighed when they heard this. Although they also knew that Xia Bingshe was not short of money, how could they let her be the sucker? Don't. Give me a chance. This is embarrassing. It's just naughty. But you can't compete with her, right? Several people talked at once. Li Zunil, I suggest you give our school beauty a fair price. Yes, Li Zunil, don't do anything against your conscience. What's the good of money? If I have a magic cloak, I'll just give it away. What's there to sell? Why did Li Zunil feel something was wrong? The situation turned so fast that he didn't react. These people look like they want to borrow flowers to offer to Buddha. So they want to put me on the moral high ground and ask me to give it away. Do they think I am the same as them, and I don't lack money? Give it away. Impossible, absolutely impossible. He pursed his lips and immediately said, okay, 2,000, it belongs to Sha Bingshe. Not only did he not give it away, he also decided to charge a high price of 2,000. Who would complain that the money is too much? Wang Hao and others were confused. Others lined up to give gifts to the school bell, but they didn't have a chance. You dared to blackmail the school bell when you had a chance. I really admire you. They guessed that Li Zunil would probably be a straight man forever. The kind that would be single for life. Wang Hao and others shook their heads repeatedly. Although the boss was a boss, he would not win the hearts of girls. For them, he was not competitive. They also breathed a sigh of relief. They knew that beautiful women generally like strong men. They were just worried that this handsome Li Zunil was a competitor. But seeing the stupid scene just now, they thought that Li Zunil obviously had no chance. Which girl would like this kind of straight man? Isn't this a straight man? Zhao Hao said faintly. Well, brother, I don't think 2,000 is appropriate. After saying that, he looked at Li Zunil and advised. Li Zunil raised his eyebrows and glared at Zhao Hao. What's your business? Stay on the pole. After saying that, Li Zunil quickly slid down from the lighthouse pole and handed the magic cloak to Sha Bingshe. Cash or WeChat? Sha Bingshe put on the magic cloak and was about to pay, but her face turned red. Can I give you the copy? Li Zunil knew from her face that she probably didn't bring much money. Sure, no problem. Li Zunil didn't think the school beauty would owe money, so he climbed up the lighthouse pole with his hands and feet. Wang Hao and others looked at Li Zunil as if they were looking at a weirdo. Awesome, awesome, that's good. One less competitor. Wang Hao and others bought some equipment from Zhao Hao, and then quietly waited for the arrival of the third level. At this time, above the sky, 3 big words appeared again. The third level. At this time, the copy building. Suddenly, a handsome student appeared. He stood calmly at the entrance of the super ghost copy managed by Tang Wu. He looked at Tang Wu calmly, full of confidence. Director Tang, I want to play the super ghost dungeon solo. Tang Wu looked at the young student who was alone, very surprised, and his eyebrows revealed confusion. He even rubbed his ears. What, did I hear it right? You want to play the super ghost dungeon solo? Yes, I heard it right, solo. Tang Wu was shocked. What's your name? Which class are you from? Lin Yu, Class 1, Grade 3, also known as Kunpeng class. I know the Kunpeng class, Lin Yu. What's your profession? Summoner. Summoner. Did you summon a powerful summoned beast? Lin Yu smiled faintly. Yes. Tang Wu was excited. What summoned beast? Lin Yu shook his head gently. Sorry, it's not convenient to answer now. Tang Wu was a little disappointed, but very understanding. Are you sure? Solo the super ghost dungeon. Very sure. Lin Yu answered confidently. Do you know what a super ghost copy means? Tang Wu suspected that Lin Yu was a little confused. Super ghost copy, 100% dead, no student has succeeded in challenging it so far. Since you know, why do you dare to play the copy alone? Tang Wu didn't understand. Because I am confident enough. Lin Yu showed his white teeth. Tang Wu looked at this young man who was full of confidence for some reason, and suddenly felt like believing him. In that case, I will open another copy. Tang Wu nodded doubtfully. Open another copy. Has anyone opened it? Lin Yu heard the details from Tang Wu's words. Yes, a team of 6, no, an 8-person team, one is opened, all of them are the top 10 students in the grade. Lin Yu rolled his eyes. Is Sha Bingshe one of them? Tang Wu looked at Lin Yu in surprise after hearing this. Do you know them? That group of people is making a lot of noise, but it's hard not to know them. Lin Yu said calmly. But the actual combat power is just so-so, not as good as Li Chen, the Sword Saint. Tang Wu narrowed his eyes at this time, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. From what you mean, you don't take Li Chen, the Sword Saint, seriously. He is only the first on the surface, but I don't take him seriously. Lin Yu's words were light, but they were extremely important. This made Tang Wu wonder, could it be that Fengchu Academy, this time, has so many phoenixes? You know, the Sword Saint profession is a hidden profession, an upgraded version of the swordsman, and it is extremely powerful. The strongest single-player ability, no one else. Li Chen is the one who triggered the hidden Sword Saint profession this year. recognized as the strongest in the grade. But this Lin Yu doesn't take him seriously. Tang Wu touched the scattered beard on his chin and kept muttering in his heart. What kind of beast did this Lin Yu summon? You know, even Li Chen, who is a swordsman, has not said that he wants to solo the super ghost copy. Tang Wu was full of doubts. Okay, although I don't know where you get the courage, I still hope to see a miracle. After that, he slowly stood up and pressed his hand on a mysterious button. The entrance of the Azure Vortex cave appeared. Lin Yu, go in. I wish you good luck. Thank you, I'll give you a good word. Lin Yu walked into the super ghost copy confidently. When Lin Yu entered the super ghost copy, Tang Wu immediately let go. Then he picked up the phone and dialed a number, Guan Shanyu. Guan Shanyu is the dean of Fengshu College and a swordsman of level 72. Dean Guan, there is something going on. Tang Wu's eyes were very shrewd at this moment, and he didn't look wretched at all. Director Tang Wu, what's going on? Guan Shanyu's doubtful voice came from the phone. A student said he wanted to solo the Super Ghost Dungeon, and he was full of confidence. What, solo? Is it Li Chen, the Sword Saint? Guan Shanyu asked curiously. No, Tang Wu denied Guan Shanyu's guess. No, who is it? Guan Shanyu was really intrigued by Tang Wu. Lin Yu, summoner, Tang Wu said calmly. Summoner, Lin Yu. Guan Shanyu was very surprised, and then continued. The summoner profession has a big gap between the lower limit and the upper limit. If the summoned beast is a very strong growth beast, it is still very strong. Yes, Dean Guan, I suspect that Lin Yu's summoned beast is very strong. Tang Wu recalled Lin Yu's very confident eyes. Observe carefully. If the Super Ghost Dungeon passes the 4th level, notify me. I want to see the situation. Guan Shanyu's tone was full of joy. It has been a long time since there have been powerful job changers in Wolong City. Fengshu College is one of the 3 major colleges in Wolong City, and Guan Shanyu is also under a lot of pressure. Of course, the other Tanglong College and Black and White College are also under pressure. They are all worried about excellent students. Of course, the highest goal of students is still the Super God Academy. The college is a higher level than the college. Almost everyone who comes out of the Super God Academy can stand on their own. Therefore, it is the dream of every student to be admitted to the Super God Academy. There are only 3 colleges in the whole Sha country, the Super God Academy, the Super Spirit Academy, and the Super Fan Academy. The Super God Academy ranks first, followed by the Super Spirit Academy, and then the Super Fan Academy. Okay, Dean Guan, I will remind you when the time comes. Yeah, you've worked hard. No, okay, I have something else to do, I'll hang up. After saying that, Guan Shanyu hung up the phone. At this time, Tang Wu turned around and found out. Sha Bingshui's team actually broke through the 4th level. That is the team with 2 burdens. He never thought that they could make it to the 4th level, thinking that they could only make it to the 3rd level at most. Because the 3rd level is a ghost, which is best at stealth and sneak attacks. Unbelievable, are they really that strong? And the Lin Yu single-player dungeon that just opened actually quickly passed the 1st level. This guy is a solo player. Tang Wu's expression instantly became interesting. Interesting. He looked at this unexpected situation and couldn't help muttering. Because he could only see the progress of the level and couldn't see the detailed picture, he didn't continue to pay attention. After a while, he took his phone and started to watch the Douyin video again. As expected, the girl appeared on the screen. In the dungeon, Li Zunil still stayed on the lighthouse pole calmly. He has reached level 4, and the targets of poison milk is poisonous are 40 at the same time, and the distance is 40 meters. As the number of targets increased and the distance became farther, he cleared monsters faster and faster. There was no monster that he couldn't deal with within 2 minutes. He put on a pair of level 3 equipment wind boots adding 8 points of physique. His current physical attribute reached 29 points of physical, and theoretically he should be able to run very fast. The 6 people underground were still attracting monsters and running for their lives. Panting, why do I feel that in this way of playing, I just need to run fast enough? Yes, I think so too. I thought I was the only one who thought so. How about we all add physique? Come on, this tactic can only be used by Li Zunil. What's the point of running when we face monsters ourselves in the future? And once the attribute points are allocated, you can't regret it. This is a lifelong thing. That makes sense, that makes sense. And Zhao Hao, in addition to getting experience and equipment, only played the role of cheerleader. Come on, you are the strongest. Come on, you are the best. Quote. After shouting, he checked the equipment in his bag. 20 pieces in total. He was so happy. It can sell for a lot of money. He has already imagined the wonderful life after the dungeon. Not only that, his equipment is now brand new, basically everything he should have. He has been considering taking the initiative to lure the monster. But he has been hesitant, mainly because he feels that there is no need. He really thinks that it is not because he is afraid. One more person is not much, one less person is not much. It's good to stay on this lighthouse pole. The monster in the 4th level is Ice Snake Demon. There are not many, only 6. But their bodies are thick and long, with high defense and high speed, can release ice crystal fangs and frost breath. The attack has a freezing effect, which is magic damage. Li Zunil likes this kind of monster the most, which is not many but very powerful. Anyway, the blood loss is based on percentage. He even added 6 layers of poison milk as poisonous to these 6 ice snakes. In less than a minute, all were killed. So far, the 4th level has been completed. Zhao Hao harvested the exploded equipment as usual, with a smile on his face. Suddenly I feel that it's great to be a little brother. It's so nice to hug my thigh. At this time, Tang Wu in the dungeon building was happily watching the Duyin girl dance, and glanced at the dungeon progress with his peripheral vision. Suddenly his pupils shook. I actually passed the 4th level. Quote. He rubbed his eyes and looked at the progress of the dungeon again. The 4th level was indeed completed. This was the team that the school beauty Xia Bingshui was in, and they had 2 burdens with them. How could this be possible? The 4th level was the Ice Snake Demon, a very strong monster with magic attacks, and there were 6 of them. Ice Snake Demons are very difficult to deal with in reality, with range damage, and if you are not careful, you will be slowed down or even frozen. How could they get through so quickly? He even got up and checked the equipment. Found that everything was normal. He woke up from the shock, took his phone, turned off the Douyin video, and called Guan Shanyu. What's wrong? Tang Wu. Lin Yu passed the 4th level. No, what's the matter? Someone did pass the 4th level, but it wasn't Lin Yu. Tang Wu, don't keep me in suspense, just say it clearly. Quote. Guan Shanyu was obviously once again intrigued. Xia Bingshui's team passed the 4th level and entered the 5th level. What? Entered the 5th level? Really? Tang Wu said seriously. Although he didn't dare to believe it, the progress of the dungeon was indeed like this. The strongest person who had passed the game before only reached the 5th level. Old Tang, are you sure you didn't fool me? How could I fool you? They really entered the 5th level. Guan Shanyu pondered for a moment, then I must come and see it in person. After that, Guan Shanyu hung up the phone in a hurry. Being able to pass the 5th level means that there are very strong students among them. This means that Fengchu College may have very good seedlings. If they are well trained, they will have a chance to win the friendly match of the 3 colleges. The friendly match of the 3 colleges in Wolong City is a competition among the best players within 1 month after the job transfer is completed every year. Although it is called a friendly match on the surface, it is actually a reflection of the strength of the college. Once the game is won, the Wolong municipal government will provide a lot of resources to the winning college, including money, materials, equipment, gems, dungeons. So every college attaches great importance to this matter. Guan Shanyu thought of Li Chen, who was specially approved to go to the wild to train his life and death, and Lin Yu, who was soloing the Super Ghost Dungeon. I suddenly felt full of confidence. If only Li Chen had a hidden profession, it would actually be very weak. Because Guan Shanyu knew that there were students with hidden professions in Tenglong College and Black and White College. The appearance of Lin Yu and the outstanding performance of Xia Bingshui's team surprised him. At that time, Li Chen would not fight alone. The victory is very likely to fall to Fengchu College. Fengchu College has not won the first place for several consecutive years. In the dungeon, Li Zunil has slipped down from the lighthouse pole. Because the monsters in this level are not ordinary. The flying monster Thunder Eagle mainly uses claws and pecking to attack, and also releases lightning for long-range attacks. There are a total of 20. They attack aerial targets first, so Li Zunil and Zhao Hao saw that the situation was not right and immediately ran to the ground. Li Zunil ran the fastest in the game because he had all his physique added. The second was Zhao Hao. The others were all surprised to see the two of them running so fast. What were these two guys up to? A priest, a swordsman. How could they run so fast? Among them, the most confused was Tan Huan. As an assassin with a good speed, she was still not as fast as Li Zunil, so she looked at Li Zunil in surprise. Hey, you are a priest, how can you run faster than me? My name is not Hey, my name is Li Zunil. Okay, Li Zunil, how can you run so fast? While running, Li Zunil cast poisonous milk as poisonous on the Thunder Eagle in the range, and answered. Because I add physique to everything. Tan Huan was very puzzled when he heard this. If you add physique to everything, then your priest skills will be useless. Li Zunil said lightly, priest skills, how come they are useless? You can't give others strong recovery, right? Why should I give others strong recovery? I am a poison nurse, not a nurse. Tan Huan was confused. Li Zunli's answer completely overturned her three views. You are really poisonous. She looked at Zhao Hao again and found that his speed was faster than hers. She couldn't help asking. You are a swordsman, you won't also add all physique, right? Zhao Hao nodded casually. Yes, I added all physique, what's wrong? Tan Huan was speechless and pulled the corner of his mouth. Then your strength will definitely not be enough in the future, how can you kill monsters? Kill monsters. Killing monsters and saving your life, which is more important? It should be saving your life. Tan Huan answered uncertainly. Zhao Hao nodded. That's it, what can be better than adding physique to save your life? But Tan Huan wanted to refute it, but found that he couldn't refute it. In this world, saving your life is indeed the first priority, and killing monsters is the second priority. Tan Huan's belief in the supremacy of attack was shaken at this time. She was already thinking, should she also focus on physical? But once facing monsters and enemies, what's the point of always running? Wang Hao next to him couldn't help but complain. Li Zunil gave me 2 sips of healing just now, but I didn't feel anything at all. This is really a poisonous healing, only caring about himself and not others. Ha ha ha, ha ha, Chen Yuan, Li Shang and others laughed. God opened a door for him and closed a window for him, so it's normal. I think we shouldn't treat Li Zunil as a priest, but as a poisonous mage. Wow, he's a poisonous mage with a very fast speed. Zhang Tian, the archer at the side, suddenly had an idea. I think I saw an interesting kite tactic from Li Zunil, and I think I can learn from it. Wang Hao and others immediately advised. Your bow and arrows don't do enough damage, what are you thinking about? That's right, can you kill a big monster by kiting for a day? Don't think about it. Quote. Zhang Tian laughed awkwardly and said nothing. Because, what they said made sense. It took less than 2 minutes. In the 5th level, all 20 Thunder Eagles lost blood and died. Zhao Hao picked up the equipment that exploded on the ground excitedly. There were 6 pieces in total. One of the equipment was particularly eye-catching. Level 5, 2-star, sprint cloak, attribute body, +1-2. Zhao Hao immediately handed this equipment that increased body to Li Zunil. He knew that Li Zunil cared more about equipment that increased body, so he borrowed flowers to offer to Buddha. Brother, this equipment, body increased by 12, do you want it? Quote. Li Zunil took it and put it on without hesitation. As long as it was equipment that increased physical strength, he accepted it all. He even thought that when he had enough money, he would go to see if there were any gems with physical strength attributes to inlay on the equipment. To improve his speed to a higher level. His tactics were actually based on the alchemist in the canyon game. He ran very fast and was very hard to kill. But his method was more advanced than that of the alchemist. He could release poison remotely and was immortal, so he only needed to increase his speed and avoid getting hurt. He is now level 5 and can release poison milk as poisonous to 50 targets within a range of 50 meters at the same time. And his physical strength has reached a terrifying 45. It's only level 5. The current monsters can't attack Li Zunil at all. The others, wait, all the levels have reached level 4. Except for Zhao Hao's full increase in physical, the attribute points of others are considered for comprehensive distribution, so the speed is even less than 20. At this time, big words appeared in the sky again. Level 6. Instance building, entrance to the Super Ghost instance. Tang Wu just hung up the phone and was about to watch the video, but when he saw it in a flash, he couldn't help but say. The information shows that Xia Bingshui's team has entered the 6th level. The 5th level was just a few minutes. This. He couldn't believe it at all. The 5th level was 20 Thunder Eagles flying in the sky. How could it be taken down so quickly? This instance system must be faulty. He glanced at the instance of Lin Yu's solo instance. His pupils shook again. He made it to the 3rd level alone. What the hell? Tang Wu kept looking at Lin Yu's copy and Xia Bingshui's team copy. Strange things happen every year, but today there are more. Tang Wu had already guessed that Lin Yu was doing the copy alone. This Lin Yu must have an extraordinary summoned beast, so he can make rapid progress. But Xia Bingshui's team, how can they be so powerful? Is there any powerful hidden profession? He decided not to take his phone and carefully watched the speed of Xia Bingshui's team copy. He remembered that the 6th level was a giant troll. Although there was only one, it was very abnormal, with high defense, high blood, and high attack. A typical 3-high monster. And it was a 3-star monster, which could easily destroy a 10-man team. This kind of monster, in reality, is already a small leader. Many adventurers died at its hands. However, he was just crossing his legs, ready to look forward to it, when he found that the dungeon had entered the 7th level. He slapped his thigh. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This monster would take at least half an hour to kill. It seemed to have been done in just 1 or 2 minutes. Did they hit a bug? He blew his beard and glared, took a sip from the glass teacup next to him. Then he spat out 2 wolfberry seeds. He shook his head, trying to sober himself up, and stared at the progress of Xia Bingshui's dungeon. The 7th level. He was not mistaken, nor was he dazzled, it was indeed the 7th level. He opened his mouth as if he could swallow the world. He kept repeating in his heart. He immediately took out his mobile phone and called Guan Shanyu. Old Tang, I'm coming soon. Has anyone made it through the 5th level? Guan Shanyu's deep and rich voice came out. Old Guan, is this instance out of repair? Something seems a little off. Tang Wu asked in doubt. His address had become more casual. An instance out of repair. How is that possible? This is a very mature instance, only 10 years old, and 90% new. Tang Wu continued. Then how come Troll Gorilla was solved in minutes? Guan Shanyu's tone was full of surprise. What? Troll Gorilla was solved in minutes? If I remember correctly, that was the 6th level. Yes, the 6th level was passed in minutes, and it was the 7th level. Is it Lin Yu or Xia Bingshui's team? Xia Bingshui's team. Guan Shanyu was silent. Is there really a tough guy in Xia Bingshui's team? For example, hidden professions like Sword Immortal. Sword Immortal profession is stronger and more domineering than Sword Saint profession. Sword controlling technique. 10,000 swords return to the origin, all of them have explosive damage. He hung up the phone directly, quickened his pace, and rushed to the Super Ghost copy. He couldn't wait to see the situation with his own eyes. Tang Wu found that the phone was hung up, and his eyes looked at the 2 activated copy information again. He was numb, completely numb. As expected, Lin Yu got green lights all the way and made great progress. And Xia Bingshui's team, 1 level in 2 minutes, 1 level in 2 minutes. The next few levels are all single boss type monsters, very strong and perverted. However, for Xia Bingshui and the others, it seems that they are not a threat at all. Tang Wu took out a bottle of medicine from his pocket. I took the medicine, so how? Finally, Guan Shanyu came to the vicinity of Tang Wu's Super Ghost copy. Before the person arrived, the voice came first. Old Tang, what's going on now? After the voice reached Tang Wu's ears, several seconds later, a thin, capable, and vigorous old man with gray hair appeared in front of Tang Wu. He was the dean of Fengshu College, Guan Shanyu, a level 72 swordsman. Look for yourself. If you had come 2 minutes later, they would have passed the level. Tang Wu spread his hands and pointed at the copy information. Guan Shanyu's eyes followed the direction of Tang Wu's finger. The 10th level. It was actually the 10th level. The 10th level was a 4-star boss, Thunder Python, which could release deadly lightning attacks and thunderstorms, and had powerful long-range strike capabilities. This Thunder Python was extremely powerful in reality. 4 stars represented its extraordinary strength. The star ratings of monsters in the weird game were quite different. Generally, monsters were starless, with primary monsters ranging from 1 to 3 stars, intermediate monsters ranging from 4 to 6 stars, and advanced monsters ranging from 7 to 9 stars. As for the 10-star monster, it has never appeared so far. Guan Shanyu's eyes flickered, and he was thinking. Could it be that the legend that no one had cleared the super ghost copy was about to be broken? Guan Shanyu's face was slightly red, feeling excited. Tang Wu pointed to another copy information. Old Guan, look, this is the copy that Lin Yu is playing alone. He has reached the 4th level by himself. Guan Shanyu widened his eyes and stared at the copy information. 4th level. He pondered for a moment and spoke excitedly. This Lin Yu should have a very powerful summoned beast. Tang Wu nodded repeatedly. Yes, 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 I think so too. He must have a very powerful summoned beast. I just don't know what the summoned beast is. Guan Shanyu touched the small amount of beard on his chin, his face full of doubts. While the two were talking, a blue vortex cave suddenly appeared in the room. The next second, Tan Huan, Sha Bingshe, Wang Hao and others walked out of the cave one after another. Finally, Li Zunil and Zhao Hao. As soon as they came out, they saw Tang Wu and Guan Shanyu. They immediately greeted each other. Hello, Dean. Hello, Dean. Quote. Tang Wu looked at the status of the dungeon. Cleared. They actually cleared it. At this time, Guan Shanyu looked at them excitedly. Good. Very good. Very good. You are the first to complete the Super Ghost Dungeon. He stroked his beard and said excitedly. Don't tell me yet, let me guess. He looked at Sha Bingshe and others, his eyes full of curiosity. There must be a hidden profession among you, right? Tan Huan nodded first. Guan Shanyu was overjoyed when he saw someone nod. Okay, don't tell me, let me guess who will be the hidden profession. Quote. Everyone was speechless. What time is it now? School is almost over. Still guessing. Guan Shanyu was very interested. Is it a girl? Tan Huan shook his head. Then it's a boy. Quote. Everyone looked at each other, and it was as if they had said nothing. Li Zunil, who was standing behind, suddenly heard a voice in his mind. Ding, you triggered the system task, please claim it. He immediately checked the system tasks. 1. Tell Guan Shanyu directly that the hidden profession is Wang Hao, a dragon knight. Completion reward. 2-star physical plus 10 attribute gem. 2. Remain silent and wait quietly for Guan Shanyu to guess slowly until the end. Completion reward. Beauty plus 1 point. 2-star physical attribute gem, plus 10 points. Wow, what's there to be entangled about? He immediately said. Dean, the hidden profession is Wang Hao, a dragon knight. Guan Shanyu was stunned when he heard this, and looked at Li Zunil with a depressed look. Who is this guy? He dared to interrupt his interest. After all, he had experienced many ups and downs. Guan Shanyu was not angry about such a small matter. He looked at everyone. Wang Hao. Dragon Knight, which classmate is it? Wang Hao immediately answered. Dean, it's me. Guan Shanyu looked at him with a smile. I didn't expect that the Dragon Knight was so powerful and could pass the Super Ghost copy. It really opened my eyes. Wang Hao heard this and said with a guilty conscience. Dean, it's not because of me that I passed the level. Tang Wu was stunned, and Guan Shanyu was also stunned. It's not because of his hidden profession. Tang Wu asked first. If it's not you, who else can it be? Guan Shanyu also stared at Wang Hao curiously. If it's not because of him, is there any other hidden profession? At this time, Wang Hao pointed his finger at Li Zunil. It's because of him that we can pass the level. Tang Wu and Guan Shanyu's eyes instantly looked at Li Zunil. Guan Shanyu was very surprised, his tone full of doubt. Tang Wu said in surprise. But isn't he a priest? How is this possible? On the side, Sha Bingshe also said, yes, it is indeed because of him that we can pass the level, otherwise we would have to come out after 3 or 4 levels at most. Guan Shanyu asked curiously, what's his name? Which class is he from? Tang Wu immediately explained. Old Guan, it's like this, he seems to be called Li Zunil, from class 2, grade 3, a priest, called by Yang Yu to experience the cruelty of monsters, but who would have thought that he would pass the level? Is it because he treated you and made you fight harder and harder, so you passed the level? Guan Shanyu asked curiously. No, it's because he can release poison. Tan Huan explained seriously on the side. Poison. Guan Shanyu couldn't understand. Tang Wu also seemed very shocked. A nanny can release poison. What kind of weird thing is this? Yes, it's still a very abnormal poison. Everyone nodded. That means you can both heal and poison. Guan Shanyu stared at Li Zunil with wide eyes. Li Zunil was checking the 2-star body attribute gem in the character's backpack. Being suddenly called was a bit unprepared, and hurriedly said, yes, 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 yes. Wang Hao on the side couldn't help laughing. But his healing effect is very weak, it's better to say that he is a poisonous mage in the guise of a nurse. Poisonous mage. Guan Shanyu slowly walked towards Li Zunil, gently pulled his arm, and looked him up and down carefully. After looking for several rounds, he solemnly said, I think you have a secret. Come with me. After saying that, he was ready to pull Li Zunil away. At this time, Tang Wu suddenly called Guan Shanyu. Wait, old Guan. This clearance needs to be announced to the whole school, right? Guan Shanyu stopped and turned to look at Tang Wu. Of course it should be announced. The name of every person who passed the level should be written down to encourage other students to take the challenge. Okay, I'll do it. Tang Wu nodded. Guan Shanyu nodded with satisfaction, and then took Li Zunil away. After just 2 steps, Guan Shanyu stopped again and looked at Tang Wu. If Lin Yu can pass the level of the Super Ghost Dungeon alone, the whole school should be notified. If he passes the level, let him come to my office. Okay, old Guan, don't worry. Tang Wu touched his belly and nodded. Zhao Hao looked at Li Zunil eagerly. Brother, you. Don't wait for me, you go first. Oh, Li Zunil followed Guan Shanyu away. Seeing Guan Shanyu leave, Tang Wu looked at Sha Bingshe and others with great interest. Tell me, what's going on inside? What proportion of the poison released by Li Zunil is in the clearance process? Tan Huan said seriously. It accounts for 99.99%. What? How is this possible? Tang Wu was full of disbelief. Let's put it this way, he has no problem clearing the dungeon by himself. Wang Hao added on the side. Yeah, we just took a ride. Sha Bingshe nodded heavily. But what is his basis if he is alone? Poison. Tang Wu didn't understand at all. No, there is also speed. Tan Huan analyzed carefully. Speed, where does this come from? Tang Wu's face was full of confusion. Director Tang, have you seen a priest who adds all physical? Tan Huan looked at Tang Wu with a smile. A priest who adds all physical. I haven't seen one. Tang Wu shook his head repeatedly. Li Zunil is all about physique, he runs really fast. How can this be? Can you play like this? Tang Wu's facial features and worldview all shook. He thought carefully for a while. So in other words, he used the kite tactics, poisoning and running away. Quote. You, Director Tang, you are really amazing, you guessed it right. Tan Huan clapped his hands lightly. Seeing being praised, Tang Wu suppressed a smile on his face and waved his hand slightly. Hey, just a random guess. He paused. Anyway, congratulations to you, you were lucky to be the first batch of people in Fengshu College to pass the Super Ghost Dungeon. But don't be proud, you know, Lin Yu has now entered the Super Ghost Dungeon alone. He said this with a certain sense of caution. Hearing this, Sha Bingshe immediately spoke. I just heard Dean Guan say that Lin Yu is soloing the Super Ghost Dungeon. What's the situation now? Tang Wu said lightly. He has reached the 5th level. Although his clearance speed is not as fast as yours, it is also very fast. What? The 5th level, solo, quote. Wang Hao was on the side with a look of disbelief. Yes, he is a summoner, and he probably summoned a very powerful summoned beast. Tang Wu was very pleased and continued. I think our Fengshu College should have a chance to win first place in the 3 major college-friendly competition this year. He seemed to have suddenly thought of something and looked at Wang Hao. Since you are a dragon knight, you should have great potential. Do you need to find a dragon pet to play the advantages of your hidden profession? Wang Hao nodded. I think so. It's probably a bit difficult to find. This thing is hard to get, even if you have money. Quote. Tang Wu's eyes were deep. Dragon knights were rare, and even with his knowledge, he had never seen a dragon knight. And the dragons among the monsters were at least 8 stars or above, which was not something that ordinary people could fight. The lowest dragon was at least level 80 or above. You know, the Dean Guan Shanyu was only level 72. This level is very different from the pure game level. Before level 30, the upgrade is fast, and it is very slow in the later stage. So level 30 is also the level required for the Super God Academy exam. Li Zunil and others passed the level, and their level was only about level 8. Tang Wu came back to his senses and looked at Wang Hao. But it doesn't matter, just take it one step at a time. Quote. Wang Hao nodded. In fact, he was not too worried about this problem, mainly because his family was really rich. He believed that money could help him solve this problem. He had asked his family to find a dragon pet, and they had to find it at any cost. In the copy, Lin Yu looked at the growing summoned beast python in front of him, revealing his white teeth. Little python, you can really grow by swallowing. If you keep going like this, we will be invincible. Ha 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 ha, Sword Saint Li Chen, what can you do? You can never match me. At this time, outside Wolong City, on a wilderness mountain, a young man gestured quickly with his hands, and the 2 long swords in his hands flew wildly in the air as he controlled them, killing people. He was the only one in Fengshu College who was allowed to leave the city by Guan Shanyu. The first in the grade, Li Chen, a hidden profession, sword master. Ah, he suddenly sneezed. Who is talking about me? On the other side, in Guan Shanyu's office, Li Zunil sat on the chair, still looking carefree. That leisurely and contented look, as if this dean's office was his dormitory. And Guan Shanyu sat opposite him, staring at him straight. He didn't speak for a long time, and his eyes were always full of curiosity. No matter how calm Li Zunil was, he felt a little bit uncomfortable after being stared at for a long time, so he couldn't help but speak. Quote. Dean Guan, just ask whatever you want to ask, don't stare at me. Guan Shanyu still didn't speak, but took a sip of tea from the glass teacup. Looking at the appearance of the glass teacup, it seemed to be quite old, and it had been covered with a thick layer of tea stains. Phew, he spat out the tea residue in his mouth. Then he squinted his eyes, looking at Li Zunil as if he was looking at some rare treasure. Finally, he spoke quietly, revealing his slightly yellow teeth. A priest can actually poison. Yes, I got a strange skill by chance, which can poison. Can you describe your poison in detail? Guan Shanyu was calm, took a sip from the teacup, and then spat out the tea. Is there any water here? I am thirsty just watching you drink water. Quote. Guan Shanyu didn't expect this kid to make a request, so he pointed to the mineral water next to him. Here, take it yourself. After thanking him, Li Zunil picked up a bottle of mineral water and drank it. Then he made a burp. Guan Shanyu rolled his eyes at him. Can you be full just by drinking water? Li Zunil slowly put the mineral water in the bottle and spoke mysteriously. Dean, this poison is terrible. The blood loss is in percentage. Percentage? How do you mean? 1% per second, for 100 seconds. Li Zunil did not hide it. After all, he was invincible. Doesn't this mean death if you get hit? Guan Shanyu widened his eyes. That's about right. So perverted. No wonder the clearance was so smooth. Guan Shanyu's eyes gradually became hot when he looked at Li Zunil. What about the skill CD? It only takes 1 second. Guan Shanyu almost said and felt that the impact was not good, so he immediately changed his words. This is the first time I've seen it. This is the first time I've seen it too. Li Zunil followed. Where did this skill come from? Is there a job requirement? I picked it up. It can only be used by priests. Li Zunil lied without blushing or beating his heart. This lie is too low level. Guan Shanyu shook his head. He could tell at a glance that Li Zunil was such a liar. However, he did not pursue it further because it was totally unnecessary. Once a skill book is used, it will disappear. He pondered for a moment and asked again, how did you add your attribute points? All added to physique. Li Zunil answered truthfully. All added to physique. So speed is the most important. Yes, Li Zunil nodded. Guan Shanyu raised his head calmly, leaned back in the chair, and looked at Li Zunil seriously. I want to hear your evaluation of myself. Myself. Li Zunil did not hesitate. Invincible. Guan Shanyu looked at Li Zunil in surprise. You kid, you are really not modest, be serious. Li Zunil looked proud and serious. Dean, I am serious. Guan Shanyu looked carefully at the carefree young man in front of him, as if he wanted to find out something. After looking for a long time, he said solemnly, do you think you can beat Li Chen? Too easy, just a matter of minutes. Li Zunil looked relaxed. Are you sure? Guan Shanyu's face was moved. Of course. Very good. Since you are so confident, I have to tell you something. Guan Shanyu looked at Li Zunil solemnly. Do you know what the ultimate goal of our job change is? Li Zunil touched his chin and thought for a while. To survive, to fight against game monsters. Guan Shanyu looked solemn. No, game monsters are endless, this is not the main reason. What is that? Li Zunil asked. The advent of this weird game is it's about luck. Luck, yes, luck. Blue Star has very bad luck, so game monsters frequently appear. This is because the participants of Blue Star in the Cosmic Cube failed to get enough luck when competing with the myriad races. Quote. Cosmic Cube. Is there such a thing? I've never heard of it. This matter is not known to ordinary people. We only talk about it with people with greater potential. Li Zunli's eyes showed thinking. Then why did you tell me? The reason I told you is that I see your potential. I want to tell you that those who are capable and talented should aim for the Sea of Stars, not the frog in the well. The Sea of Stars. Quote. Li Zunil was shocked by Guan Shanyu's words. He originally thought that with his immortal talent and the poisonous milk of the magic skill, he was invincible on this blue planet, but he found that there was a bigger world. It seems that the situation is more complicated than he imagined. Guan Shanyu nodded and continued. But don't think too far ahead, hurry up and upgrade. Every dangerous place has a level requirement. For example, the Cosmic Cube requires you to reach level 100 or above to enter. The Super God Academy requires at least level 30 to be eligible to enter. The countless secret realms in the wild also have corresponding level requirements to enter. And your top priorities are three. One is the field training in 3 days, the other is the friendship competition of the 3 major colleges within a month, and the other is the Super God Academy admissions assessment within 100 days. If you want to know more secrets about the Cosmic Cube, you must be admitted to the Super God Academy to be qualified to know more specific things. Even I am not qualified. Quote. Okay, Dean, I roughly understand. Quote. Li Zunil nodded thoughtfully. I have only told Li Chen and you about this matter. Of course, there is also the possibility of Lin Yu. Li Chen and Lin Yu. Guan Shanyu nodded. Li Chen, the hidden profession, Sword Saint, how great is the potential, I don't need to say more. Li Zunil nodded. He knew that among the hidden professions, Sword Saint is one of the strongest professions in single combat, of course there are also Sword Saints and the like. Guan Shanyu slowly spoke again. As for Lin Yu, he is a summoner. He should have a very powerful summoned beast and went to the Super Ghost Dungeon alone. Guan Shanyu was obviously very concerned about Lin Yu's performance. Solo. Yes, solo. What's so great about solo? I can do it too. Li Zunil curled his lips with a proud look on his face. Guan Shanyu glanced at Li Zunil unhappily. I find that your biggest characteristic is that you are not modest. Li Zunil heard the hidden meaning. You are so shameless. At this time, I once dreamed of traveling the world with a sword and seeing the prosperity of the world. Guan Shanyu's cell phone rang. He immediately checked his phone and the caller was Tang Wu. He immediately answered the phone. What's the matter, old Tang? Old Guan, Lin Yu cleared the Super Ghost copy alone. He really has something. Ask him to come to my office. Guan Shanyu's excitement was not hidden at all. Clearing 2 Super Ghost copies in a row is of extraordinary significance. You know, no student has passed it before today. This Super Ghost copy is the first time that it has been passed so easily. He believes that this year's Fengshu Academy will have extraordinary talents. Li Chen, Li Zunil, and Lin Yu will definitely stand out from the crowd. And who will be the best? He can't judge, but he was confident that he would win the friendly match between the 3 colleges. He hung up the phone and looked at Li Zunil. Okay, our communication is over. You should go back and rest first. Remember, the sea of stars. After Li Zunil nodded, he stood up and left. After leaving the office, he took out his mobile phone to check the time. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening, and it was time for dinner. He accidentally opened the WeChat message and suddenly found that the class group was in an uproar. No way, Li Zunil and Zhao Hao, these two people stepped on dog shit. They actually cleared the super ghost dungeon with Xia Bingshui's team. Wow, I'm really envious and jealous. This title is enough to brag for a few years. I can't believe that they can get close to Xia Bingshui. That's my goddess. Quote. No one would have thought that Xia Bingshui and others passed the super ghost dungeon and completed the clearance because of the priest Li Zunil. Li Zunil was walking in the aisle when a handsome young man suddenly came towards him. His eyes were calm and composed, and he looked a little steady. He stared at Li Zunil and suddenly said, Li Zunil. Li Zunil was a little surprised. Who are you? Me, Lin Yu. You are Lin Yu. Do you know me? Lin Yu nodded gently and looked at Li Zunil with interest. Teacher Tang Wu just told me about you. A priest can release poisons and pass the super ghost copy and complete the clearance. You have something that I didn't expect at all. Haha, basic operations are not bad. What basic operations are not bad? Lin Yu asked in confusion. Ah, it's just a small matter. It's a small matter. Lin Yu looked at Li Zunil and said confidently. Before, I just thought Li Chen could fight me, but now I think you might be able to. But I think no one can fight me. Li Zunil spoke without blushing or beating his heart. You are so arrogant. Lin Yu looked at Li Zunil in surprise. He had never expected that Li Zunil was so arrogant. He was not humble at all. I'm just stating a fact. Li Zunil spread his hands and said casually. Lin Yu half squinted his eyes and stared at Li Zunil seriously, as if observing whether what he said was true or false. After a moment of silence, Lin Yu's tone was full of gunpowder. When? Let's have a fight. Anytime. After Li Zunil finished speaking, he put his hands in his pockets and strode away, still looking careless. He didn't take Lin Yu's words to heart at all. Lin Yu was left stunned, looking at his back in doubt. Lin Yu held his chin with his right hand and said to himself. Is this guy really that strong? Then he shook his head and walked towards the dean's office. He felt that he and Li Zunil would have to fight. Li Zunil looked at the few people in the corridor and knew that they had gone to eat. When he returned to the classroom, there were only a few people scattered around. He immediately called Zhao Hao. Rishan, where are you? I climbed over the wall and left the academy. Zhao Hao said weakly. During dinner time, you climbed over the wall and left the academy. What were you doing? Selling equipment. These dozens of equipment can sell for a lot of money. Quote. Li Zunil pursed his lips and was speechless. This guy doesn't know to wait until after school to sell. Then remember to bring me some food, I don't want to eat in the cafeteria. Brother, what do you want to eat? Roasted chicken, roasted duck, or something like that, meat is fine. Brother, then wait for me to sell the equipment and bring it to you. Okay, be quick, I'm hungry. Li Zunil hung up the phone after saying that. Suddenly, a strange phone call came in. He looked at the phone in confusion. Could it be an advertising call? He hesitated for a second and hung up. The phone rang again. He thought it was not an advertising call, as advertising calls usually only ring once, so he answered it. As soon as he answered, a clear and pleasant voice came from the other side. Okay, Li Zunil, why did you hang up on me? Ah, who? It's me, Xia Bingshui. Xia Bingshui, how do you know my phone number? I asked Zhao Hao for it. Are you in the classroom now? Yes, what's the matter? Then stay in the classroom, I'll come to find you. Li Zunil was about to ask what was going on, but the call was hung up. In a few minutes, Tan Huan and Xia Bingshui were standing at the door of the classroom, and Tan Huan said, Li Zunil, come out for a moment. Li Zunil heard the voice and immediately looked at the door of the classroom. It turned out to be Tan Huan and Xia Bingshui. At the same time, the few students in the classroom all looked at the door of the classroom and talked about it. Wow, am I seeing right? Isn't that the school beauty Xia Bingshui at the door? Ah, looking for Li Zunil. Does Li Zunil deserve it? Although Li Zunil is indeed a little handsome, I don't accept it. Quote. Lee Zunil didn't care at all. He stood up and walked to the door and said lightly, "Hey, what's the matter?" Xia Bingshe stared at him seriously. "I owe you 2,000 yuan, do you want it?" Lee Zunil immediately said, "Of course. Who the hell would have trouble with money?" Xia Bingshe took out her mobile phone and showed her business card. V-letter transfer, add it. Lee Zunil didn't think much about it and took out his mobile phone to scan the code. This scene was captured by a classmate with great paparazzi potential. It was posted in the group, like a bomb exploding. Lee Zunil didn't know. He looked at the 2,000 summer coins that came into his account and smiled slightly. 3 years. He relied on his ultimate liar to make a living. Zhao Hao didn't know how many meals he had eaten. This is finally going to turn around. Just as he was imagining a bright future, Tan Huan suddenly called Lee Zunil. "Hey, there's one more thing. How about forming a team for the outdoor trial in 3 days?" "No," Lee Zunil firmly denied it. "Why?" Tan Huan asked in confusion. Lee Zunil said indifferently, "It's very simple. Form a team and share experience. Then give money." Before Lee Zunil could speak, Tan Huan spoke again. "We pay, you take us, thank you." After that, without waiting for Lee Zunil to speak, Tan Huan took Xia Bingshe and turned away. "This job is very challenging, you have to pay more." Lee Zunil answered loudly, but he watched the two people walk away, not sure if they heard it. "This, good guy, you just run away after saying it. There is no sincerity at all, playing with chicken feathers." Lee Zunil pursed his lips and returned to his seat. As soon as he sat down, several paparazzi classmates came over. "Handsome guy, how did you hook up with the school beauty? You even added each other on WeChat. You're playing with fire, brother." Lee Zunil waved his hand. "I just sold her a piece of equipment and made 2,000 yuan from her, that's all." Several people were even more surprised. "What, you actually made money from her? Others don't even have time to give money to her." "That's right, you're hopeless. Okay, if I offend the school beauty, I will have one less competitor." "Dedong, look at your face full of pockmarks. There are so many boys in the school, and one less, your chance is very low." "That's right, otherwise you should add all your attribute points to beauty." "How can that be possible? I am a knight with beauty. Can I use my face to fight monsters? Can't the face fight monsters?" Look at Lee Zunil, he just relies on his face. Lee Zunil was unhappy when he heard this. "Go away, if you tease me again, I will beat you up." Several people hurried away when they heard this. They were not afraid of Lee Zunil, but handsome people seemed to have some magic in their words. Lee Zunil picked up his mobile phone and started to check the news. The college WeChat group exploded again. "What, Lin Yu from Class 1, Grade 3, actually cleared the Super Ghost Dungeon solo. Isn't this news more explosive than Xia Bingshui's team clearing the Super Ghost Dungeon? What kind of explosive news is this?" Just now, the school beauty Xia Bingshe actually took the initiative to find Lee Zunil from Class 2, Grade 3, and added WeChat. So sad. What? Impossible. Are there pictures? Of course there are pictures. Look. Ah, my goddess, how could she? Lee Zunil, who the hell is he? Wang Tang, want to talk to him. Wang Tang, forget it, you can't beat him. Wang Hao, said so. Tisk, how could the Wang family have a coward like you? I'm going to find him now. Oh my god, is there a shocking melon? I want to see. Lee Zunil was speechless when he saw the news. People are sitting in the classroom, and the disaster comes from WeChat. Lee Zunil looked at the few gossipy boys and girls in the class. Who the hell is posting photos for no reason? Everyone was silent and hesitant. Lee Zunil was not afraid, but he was afraid of trouble. One came today, one came tomorrow, and it would never end. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Ding, you triggered the system task, please claim it. He immediately checked the system task. 1. Take the initiative and say in the group, those who want to trouble me, all come to the competitive dungeon, I'm waiting for you. Completion reward. A pair of level 10 3-star Tengyun shoes. 2. Be constant in the face of changes, wait for others to come to you, and then slap them in the face. Completion reward. Beauty attribute +2. 3-star Tengyun shoes, look like they run very fast. And it seems that it's time to establish your prestige. Since you are invincible, what's there to be afraid of? He chose one and immediately spoke in the group. Those who want to cause trouble for me, come to the competitive dungeon, I'll wait for you. As soon as these words came out, it was like a bomb exploded in the group. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. What, is this Li Zunil so stubborn? Wow, I didn't know Li Zunil before, he speaks so manly. Ask around, is Li Zunil a powerful person? He's a handsome guy, but he's a priest, ha ha ha. What, a nurse dares to speak like this? Is his brain out of whack? I thought only Lin Yu or Li Chen dared to speak like this. What's wrong with being handsome? Can it make a living? Xia Bingshe suddenly spoke in the group. I think you'd better not provoke him. It would have been better if she didn't speak, but her words were more like adding fuel to the fire. What, the school beauty actually came out to speak well of him? What do you mean? Do you mean you look down on us and think we can't beat a nanny? No, I must prove myself. I want to let the school beauty know that in this world, strength is the first priority. Quote. Let's go, and beat Li Zunil in the competitive dungeon. That's right, let him know what cruelty is. Quote. Quote. Li Zunil looked relaxed, and walked towards the competitive dungeon while reading the messages in the group. The competitive dungeon is in the lobby on the first floor of the dungeon building. The competitive dungeon is different from the monster dungeon. It is a dungeon that is open for a long time and free to enter and exit. If there are grudges between students, they will choose to go to the competitive dungeon to resolve them. You can kill each other, but it is not a real death. In addition, students hone their combat skills almost all in the competitive dungeon. Therefore, the competitive dungeon is also an important way for students to improve their strength, and they can use their skills unscrupulously in it. Very soon, Li Zunil quickly entered the competitive dungeon. The dungeon had a large space, and at this moment, there were still many people doing confrontation training. He sat lazily on the steps at the edge of the dungeon. He crossed his legs and quietly waited for the troublemakers. He even had a little expectation in his heart. He has now reached level 8. He can poison 80 targets at the same time within a range of 80 meters. And his equipment has been changed, and the physique attribute bonus has reached 41 plus 46. That is, 87 physique. It doesn't seem to be very abnormal, but there is no harm without comparison. Tan Huan is level 7, assassin, and his physique attribute is only 32, and this is still with the equipment bonus. Because you can't just add physical, you have to take labor into account. Otherwise, her attack power will be completely insufficient. For a magician like Xia Bingshe, you have to take intelligence into account, otherwise the skill damage will not be high enough. Although you can embed attribute gems on equipment to improve certain attributes, the number of attribute gems that can be embedded in equipment is limited. Generally, 1-star equipment can only embed 1 attribute gem. 2-star equipment can embed 2, and 3-star equipment can embed 3. In theory, 10-star equipment can embed 10 attribute gems. Attribute gems are very expensive, more expensive than equipment, which means that very few rich people are willing to waste them like this. 1-star attribute gems generally add 5 points, 2 stars add 10 points, 10 stars add 50 points, no matter what attribute, this is the case, except for Dragon, which has no attribute gems. Gems are like equipment, the more stars, the more expensive they are. Attribute gems can only be dropped by real wild monsters, not by dungeon monsters. Moreover, attribute gems are linked to the star level of the monster. For example, a 2-star monster can only drop attribute gems below 2 stars. Li Zunil brushed the entire Super Ghost dungeon, and no attribute gems dropped. The highest one, which is the 2-star body attribute gem rewarded by the system task, plus 10. At this time, in the arena dungeon, someone suddenly shouted, "Where is Li Zunil?" Li Zunil crossed his legs and looked at the arrogant and strong boy in the distance, ignoring him. Rude. He is an elegant person. How can he talk to such a person? It is simply beneath his dignity. He calmly took out his mobile phone and started to check the news. The boy spoke loudly again. "Students, please leave. Something unpleasant is going to happen here. Give me Wang Tang some face." As soon as the voice fell, Li Zunil instantly understood that this guy was the Wang Tang in the group, with more than 10 people behind him, well equipped. Others began to discuss. Wang Tang, is he the rich second generation who is so awesome? Yes, he can be said to be a school bully. It is better not to mess with him. Let's go. Let's stay away from him. The students in the arena left one after another. Wang Tang did not forget to shout. Next, this arena can only have Li Zunil and the people who beat Li Zunil. You dare to hook up with my goddess, you are really impatient to live. At this time, in the arena, students are still pouring in. Obviously, they are all people who want to beat Li Zunil. Li Zunil looked at the huge crowd of students, with a little shock on his face. There must be at least hundreds of people here, right? And people are coming in continuously. This school beauty has such a strong appeal. Ah, is this a hornet's nest? There are people to kill. At this time, there was a student not far from him, who was training on his own and ignored Wang Tang at all. Wang Tang looked around the whole place and found the figures of Li Zunil and the boy. Wang Tang was the first to shout at the boy. Are you Li Zunil? No. Then you want to beat Li Zunil? No. Then what are you doing here? Training. What do you mean? Don't you give me face? No. Oh, so brave. Just make do. Brothers, carry him out with sharp knives. Wang Tang looked at the other party angrily and said to his followers. Unexpectedly, the boy snorted coldly. Just rely on you 5 scum. The boy's momentum was so strong that he seemed like a sword out of its sheath. In the entire arena, he was like a dazzling star. Li Zunil was stunned. This guy seems to have something. Wang Tang also became interested at this time. Hey, master, what's your name? Tang Xiaosan. Oh, Tang Xiaosan, I haven't heard of him. Brothers, carry him away. Wang Tang thought for a moment, and had no impression at all, so he spoke without hesitation. 7 or 8 boys rushed out from Wang Tang, holding knives, guns, sticks and clubs, and rushed towards Tang Xiaosan. You dare! Tang Xiaosan shouted loudly. His voice was as loud as thunder, as if a peerless master had come out. The 7 or 8 people who rushed up paused for a moment and looked at each other. Could this be a peerless master? Wang Tang didn't believe it at all. Why are you standing there? Come on me. Several people no longer hesitated and rushed up again. Swords and knives were facing each other. The next second, a very unexpected scene appeared. After a face-to-face encounter, Tang Xiaosan was carried away. Li Zunil was stunned. This is a big reversal. I thought he was a powerful character, but he turned out to be just a show-off. He was almost fooled. Good acting. At this time, Wang Tang looked at Li Zunil and asked loudly. Are you Li Zunil? Yes. Good. I found the real boss. Don't fight with me later. I'm going to teach this nurse a lesson. Wang Tang looked at Li Zunil angrily, as if he had a grudge of having his wife taken away. Everything was reflected on the big screen outside the competitive copy. Many students were taking pictures of the scene with their mobile phones and sending them to the college WeChat group in real time. Xia Bingshe and Tan Huan have been paying attention to the information in the group. Bingshe, you are the source of trouble. This is all because of you. Tan Huan looked at the photos in the group and said gloatingly. Xia Bingshe said innocently, I didn't mean it either. Tan Huan nodded. However, no one should be able to kill him, but everyone else will be killed by him, right? Xia Bingshe covered her mouth and guessed. I don't know about that. There are a lot of people now, probably no less than 200. In the dean's office, Guan Shanyu obviously saw the news. Li Zunil, ha ha ha, good. If you don't act frivolously, you will be young. I want to see how capable you are. The head teacher Yang Yu also saw the news. What's wrong with this Li Zunil? Is it because Xia Bingshui's team cleared the dungeon that they started to go crazy? She immediately asked Guan Shanyu if he wanted to take care of it himself. But the answer she got was, wait and see. She was a little confused. What's wrong with Dean Guan? This is a complete group fight. It's not appropriate for so many people to fight a nurse profession, right? She really wanted to take care of it, but because of Guan Shanyu's words, she could only stare blankly. The scene of the competitive dungeon. Wang Tang looked at Li Zunil, who was sitting with his legs crossed. Li Zunil, why don't you come over and die? Li Zunil didn't say anything nonsense. He took out his staff and waved it a few times. Wang Tang and others all had light green halos on their heads. Someone in the crowd immediately shouted, "Brother, you have green on your head. You have green on your head. You have grassland on your head." Quote, "Brother, what he said is true. There is really green on your head. 3 green halos, no, 4, more and more, like a hat." The few people didn't talk for a few seconds, and they were all carried out of the arena unknowingly. Wang Tang was even more confused and appeared outside the arena. The expression on his face seemed to be saying, "Who am I? Where am I? What should I do?" At this time, batches of students in the arena were carried out of the arena. Finally someone reacted, "Wow, there is something wrong with that green halo. Li Zunil is actually here to do something bad, kill him." I said something was wrong. "Quick, Archer, get him first. Charge, kill." Li Zunil finally got up and ran. Someone was very upset and shouted, "Don't run if you have the guts. Are you sick or am I sick? Why don't you run when you kill me? Then run slower." Quote, "I'm going to smack you. Slow down. What are you talking about? Don't let me catch you, or you'll be dead. If you can catch me, I'll let you die slowly." Li Zunli's figure was like a gust of wind, far ahead of everyone else. Running east and west in the crowd, no one could catch up. Everyone had 2 or 3 green halos on their heads. How can he, a priest, run so fast? That's right, how the hell did he add attribute points? Isn't it all physical? Bows and arrows can't hit him, and magic can't hit him. This old man, I'm really convinced. In less than a minute, everyone was carried out of the competitive dungeon. Li Zunil was the only one left in the huge arena. He sat quietly on the steps at the edge of the arena, crossing his legs, looking relaxed and contented. All the people who were carried out of the arena were confused. How did I die in the arena? Yes, I'm wondering too. I don't believe it. Don't waste your time. Go straight to the underworld. Yes, there's something wrong with that halo. It loses blood very quickly. I also found out. It almost lost all blood in 1 minute. Wang Tang led everyone into the arena again. Li Zunil, you dare to play dirty. Li Zunli's tone was calm. What's the dirty or the young? It's good to be able to kill you. Brother, no nonsense, charge. Wang Tang was alert instantly. Yes, charge directly. A large group of people rushed towards Li Zunil. Li Zunil turned on the sprint mode again, poisoning while running. Another minute passed. Everyone was carried out of the arena dungeon again. And they didn't even touch Li Zunli's hair. Li Zunli's lonely figure was very conspicuous in the arena. Watching this scene, Guan Shanyu finally understood where Li Zunli's confidence in saying he was invincible came from. He had seen the way Li Zunil attacked, and the blood loss mechanism of his poison, which could actually be stacked. This was something he hadn't asked clearly before. This skill was too abnormal. This Li Zunil now had the ability to kill anyone, including Guan Shanyu. His only weakness was that once he was trapped, he was doomed. Guan Shanyu pondered secretly. For ordinary people, there is only the concept of job change, but very few people who are blessed by God will awaken their talents. He suspected that Li Zunli's poisoning was not a skill, but his talent. And Yang Yu, who was always paying attention to the information, was also numb. The first time she thought she was hallucinating, but the second time it happened, she completely dispelled the idea of having an illusion. What the hell is that light green halo? It can actually kill people in a short period of time. She can't understand it at all. You know, in the competitive dungeon, except for not really dying, everything else is exactly the same as in the real environment. This means that Li Zunil can kill people like this in the real world. Could it be that Dean Guan has already known Li Zunli's secret? So he said to wait and see. Then the truth about Xia Bingshui's team passing the Super Ghost dungeon may not be what she thought. Everyone thought that Li Zunil had someone to rely on, but now it seems that it is very likely that they relied on Li Zunli's thigh. Xia Bingshui and Tan Huan looked at the live broadcast information in the group and were not surprised. Tan Huan said in an expected tone, "Sure enough, he is very strong, even 200 people can't do anything to him. Too strong to be abnormal. If his poison is used to kill a super powerful boss, it is simply a magical skill." Xia Bingshui analyzed carefully. Tan Huan said thoughtfully, "No wonder, I was wondering why you wanted to team up with Li Zunil. It turned out that you were attracted by this point of him. I thought you were attracted by his appearance. Of course, not. Xia Bingshe blushed and shook her head. The college's WeChat group has been completely blown up. My god, this nurse is really poisonous. Sent away more than 200 people in 1 minute. And twice in a row. Who dares to provoke him now? Remember, never provoke Li Zunil in the future. Yes, I would rather provoke Li Chen and Lin Yu than this guy. If you are given a green ring, you are whitewashed. And at this time, in the arena, Li Zunil asked loudly and calmly. If anyone is still dissatisfied, come in quickly. Those who have died twice should not come in. No one outside the dungeon made any move. Silent and silent, you can hear a pin drop. Even Wang Tang, who was shouting loudly, was quiet at this time. It was easy for the other party to kill him, so it was not appropriate to provoke him again. He was arrogant, but he was not desperate. He knew who to provoke and who not to provoke. The reason why he dared to be so arrogant before was completely because he didn't know that the other party was so outrageous. Li Zunil saw that no one had entered the dungeon for a long time. No one can fight, so let's call it a day. Just when everyone thought that this matter had come to an end. There was a commotion in the crowd, and a figure quickly passed by the crowd. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. A handsome and calm boy quickly rushed into the competitive dungeon. Wait, let me try. When he stood firm, everyone could see his appearance clearly. It's Lin Yu. Lin Yu who solo cleared the Super Ghost dungeon. Oh my god, can we see two ruthless people fighting today? Quote. Wow, I'm shocked. I'm also numb. It's a good thing I didn't climb over the wall today. Shish, what nonsense are you talking about? Li Zunil was obviously surprised to see Lin Yu entering the dungeon. Hey, you also came to beat me because of the school beauty. No, I just want to defeat you. Lin Yu's tone was full of confidence. Then come on. Li Zunil smiled at Lin Yu. You think I'm stupid, I won't get close to you. I observed that your casting distance is less than 100 meters. As long as I am 100 meters away, I won't be poisoned by you. Quote. Lin Yu spoke with a very firm tone. Li Zunil was secretly surprised for 2 seconds. It's true that this guy is really something, and his observation is very accurate. I am only level 8, and the casting distance is only 80 meters now. But it doesn't matter, as my level increases, this distance will gradually increase. Then how do you challenge me? Release your summoned beast. That's right. After Lin Yu nodded, he gestured with his hands and whispered. Here comes the sky-swallowing python. As soon as the voice fell, a huge void hole appeared where he gestured with his hands, and a colorful giant python swam out of the hole. The giant python is huge, 20 to 30 meters long, its body is as hard as steel, its scales are shining, like armor, and its body is colorful, which makes it look very gorgeous and unique. At this time, outside the copy, everyone was stunned and talked about it. What kind of perverted thing is this? I don't know. It looks outrageous. Quote. I'm afraid this giant python can also sweep us. One is more perverted than the other, it's simply not enough for us to live. I just don't know if Sword Saint Li Chen has the strength to fight. I guess Sword Saint Li Chen is not that simple. That's a hidden profession with extremely strong attacks. At this moment, in the dean's office, Guan Shanyu looked at this giant python and was amazed. Swallowing sky python. It is indeed a fierce beast, and its ultimate form is no less than 8 stars. It looks like the same level as Lin Yu, which is about 11 or 12. If it continues to upgrade, it will be extremely terrifying. He was secretly shocked, rubbing his hands, and was extremely excited. If this fierce beast grows to a certain extent, it can completely kill most monsters. In the arena, Li Zunil was also shocked. Wow, you got this guy out. No wonder you can pass the level easily. Quote. Of course, after all, you are not easy to deal with. Lin Yu stared at Li Zunil calmly. Li Zunil said calmly. Then do it. What are you waiting for? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.